What up, bros? Welcome to another Brograph Brocast. I'm Dave.
I'm Matt.
And I'm David.
And Brograph is a supplement to our site, brograph.com, which is a motion graphics site with tutorials, plugins, podcasts, and other MoGraph stuff. And on the podcast, we talk about everything ranging from motion graphics to Cinema 4D, After Effects, plugins, render engines, doing business, doing contract work, doing taxes, working for the man. And on the show this week, to help us follow up with Siggraph, it's David Ariev. How you doing?
Good. Octane Jesus
From
is in the
Ariev
house.
Visuals.
I'm glad you're doing okay because you flew back from from San Diego to Charlottesville,
Yeah,
and
today has been
you've only been
messed up day for me. I haven't gotten anything done. I'm supposed to be like, this is one of the 2 days that I have tons of time to actually do shit, and yeah, I'm just kind of messed up in the head from today. So, like, did you guys see the video of that car that plowed through a crowd of people?
I heard of stuff.
Sucks,
but I really haven't been following the news today, so I'm sorry.
That's okay.
It's pretty rough.
It's so weird because it's in my hometown. I've lived here for the past 8 years, and this is all controversy. Right. Like, it's weird because Charlottesville is not a conservative area. It's really liberal, and 80% of the people are Democrats. Weird. And because of that, they voted to take down the statue of Robert E. Lee because that guy's a jerk, and it riled up some ultra conservative people, and now there's crazy protests and madness in the streets. And my buddy who I talked about on the interview with Tony Coppolillo, Eric Hurt, he's this DP that I've worked with for years. I've worked on all of his films. He's one of my best collaborators. He got me all my initial work after I made the jump into freelance. He was one of the people to actually jump out of the way of that car. And it's so weird seeing that happen in downtown Charlottesville. Yeah, so it really messed me up. And it's that video clip was extremely violent. Someone died.
Yeah,
I didn't see it.
And there were 19 people injured. It was the thing in France. I mean, not nearly as bad, but it's someone literally just plowed through a crowd of people.
And you are only gone from Charlottesville for a couple months now, and look what happens to the place.
Yeah, I know, man. You've been holding that whole place together.
Know,
way to go.
Yeah, now it's just going to shit.
So, I just got back just before the show from watching the Emoji Movie.
Oh, yeah.
Why did you do that?
I heard it was the best movie ever.
It has a 7% on Tomatoes.
It was
has it gone up?
Oh, yeah.
Because last time
nobody
I checked,
will
it
get
was
that
at
joke.
4.
What joke? The meh joke?
Meh.
Oh.
That's how it was.
Right,
meh.
because the main character is a meh.
Right.
Or he's supposed to be a meh, but he's having a crisis where he can't actually be a meh. Right.
It was really bad.
How were the poop jokes?
There weren't many poop jokes.
There weren't any poop jokes?
Yeah, and the thing is that it's not really a poo emoji. You know that's supposed to be ice cream when it was originally made.
Oh, was
people
it?
Changed it into poop. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was always a poop emoji.
No, it wasn't. I swear I heard that.
Then why wouldn't they put a cone on it?
It's supposed to be ice cream, not an ice cream cone.
I highly doubt that.
Well, here the whole premise of the movie is they're in the phone and they're trying to get to the cloud, and the only way they can get to the cloud is to get to the Dropbox app.
This is so stupid.
Oh my gosh, it is so stupid.
And they're like, "Oh, we have to have a special password because Dropbox is so secure." And it's like, "Oh my gosh,
so
how much do they
basically,
pay
it's
for
an
that?"
entire movie for Dropbox.
Well, and there's other apps in there too, and they're all the real apps, And
I saw there was
like,
a Candy Crush one.
Like Candy Crush is in there. I'm like, okay, people are paying good money to be the apps in this movie. So, yeah, not good, not good. And the whole being inside of something like what was the movie, the emotion movie that Pixar did with the
Inside Out?
Inside Out. Yeah,
Inside
that one's
Out.
actually good.
But it's almost like a ripoff of that because it's the emojis inside the phone that the kid has.
It's like dumb version of a Pixar movie.
How is the story? Is this overall?
It's terrible.
Is it does it have a good I don't know.
No, it was
first major
awful.
conflict, and then he had conflict throughout, and then there was good resolution. Is it a well-written story? Or is it just garbage all the way throughout?
It's just generic and boring.
Okay,
Completely
so generic,
generic
and
and
boring.
boring.
That's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you could have done so much more with it. It was just there wasn't anything really that funny about it either. We went to see the Lego Movie had some good zingers.
I
in it,
love
even
the
for
Lego
adults.
Batman
Oh
movie.
my
That
gosh,
was
I
awesome.
love the Lego movie.
Yeah.
I didn't like the Batman Lego movie as much.
No, that one was just as good.
Yeah.
Well,
It was more
even
fast
like the
paced, but it was
jokes.
still really good.
Where in the Lego Batman movie they're talking about Robin and he's like, but most of my friends call me Dick, and he's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, kids can be cruel.
Yeah.
And so like there's no like adult humor in it or any of that
Right.
kind of stuff. It's just super super boring.
Who
and-
did
and
the
just,
Emoji Movie? Sony Pictures Animation, was it?
I don't know, but there was
Okay,
a short.
never mind.
There was a short with the Hotel Transylvania before it, so I'm assuming it was the same
Yeah,
people.
Sony Pictures.
Oh yeah,
Imageworks.
how was that?
That was actually okay. I mean,
I-
it wasn't. It was whatever.
Yeah.
Just quick and
On
dirty.
that similar note, don't go see Valerian because that movie is effing terrible. Yeah,
That's
it was a
that's
mess.
kind of sad.
I was really disappointed. Like Chelsea and I were kind of heartbroken because it looked so good in the previews. And Luc Besson, is typically like pretty good. Fifth Element is awesome. He's got some other really good movies. But Lucy was kind of a down note. But then this movie was just freaking terrible. It felt like a cobbled together mess.
I didn't mind Lucy too much.
Oh, really?
I thought it was weird, and wasn't really based on actual science, but I don't know. It was definitely an interesting movie.
Yeah, I mean, this to me felt like going the way of Peter Jackson, where dude has way too much resources and it seems like he works better under constraints, because it felt like the story was just hacked together, and like it was like, oh, I want to go, there was like even a sequence where it was like, I don't even know how to describe this, but it's like it showed all the different races, but like under the pretense of like asking the computer, they're like, hey computer, we're going to this place where we've lived for 10 years, what are the different races in this place? And then it like hard cuts to all the different races. It's just like the cheesiest, worst way to introduce, like, to flesh out the world, rather than having the characters explore the world. They just like were like, well, there's the crawly creatures in the sea, you guys, and then there's the electric robots, and it's just like hard cutting to all these different environments, and it's like Luc Besson just wanted to like show cool images, and like it wasn't, it didn't feel like a movie. It was just and the actors
is it beautiful though?
It's
'Cause,
beautiful,
like,
but it's also like not consistent. It's like, it doesn't feel like all the same. I mean, I don't know, I guess the visuals had a similar vibe throughout the whole thing, but it's like, because the story is so hacked together and the acting is so terrible, yeah, it just, I don't know, I hated it. It was painful. Cool story,
bro.
Cool story, bro.
I'm looking up the pile of poo emoji
my gosh.
on Wikipedia. And I just have to point
Squirrel.
out, at no place does it actually say it was ice cream. It like is poo from the beginning.
Is there a Wikipedia article on the poo emoji?
Yeah, pile of poo emoji. Let's put it in the show notes.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to look that up, man. I swear, like.
It says
what
pile
they
of poo
said.
emoji. In 2007, Google looking to expand its presence in Japan and Asia as a whole, partnered with blah, blah, blah. Yep. Anyway.
I don't know. References, pile of poo emoji. Also known as dog dirt or smiling poop.
Anyway.
A pile of poo that is shaped like soft serve ice cream, brown in color with a friendly smile in most versions of this emoji. Previously
Looks
shown
like
as a more
soft
literal
serve ice
pile
cream,
of poo.
but is
poo.
actually a pile of poo.
Well,
I
it
can't
says
see this
previously
emoji
shown-
without thinking of Squatty Potty. You know that Squatty
Squatty
Potty,
Potty?
commercial with the
Yeah.
unicorn pooping
The
rainbows?
rainbow poo.
The best
Yeah.
episode we've ever had.
No, I think there's been
Oh my
worse.
god,
No, I didn't say worse. I said best.
best.
Oh, best.
Yeah, this is quality.
Yeah, well, we've
content.
had worse. It still stands. We've still had worse.
Yeah. All right.
And it's
So,
gonna be the Greeble
are we
poo
getting to
emoji
MoGraph yet,
episode.
or are we just going to talk?
Oh, no. I mean, a pile of poo is kind of MoGraph. But
Yeah,
Is it?
Yeah, you got to animate it with a sweep nerve and some
yeah.
collision
A
deformers,
helix.
spline,
helix, yeah.
Some dynamics on there, and then if you
yeah.
plus it real hard, then you use real flow and get this squishy like viscosity going, and yeah, that would be a
a
hard
lot of viscosity.
and then add some
A
sprinkles
lot of
on top,
viscosity.
you know?
Yeah, you need some purlin noise on that to really give it the texture, though.
Yeah, some like kind of glossy maps on the, but then for the corn that's sticking out, you got to texture.
I was about to say the corn. Now that's a cloner object, right?
Yeah,
object cloner.
And scatter are like just little flecks of
scatter.
Maybe some like.
No, he's doing this in Octane, so it looks so much more realistic.
It's gonna look so realistic. So I'm gonna, like get some hairs. I create some like individual hair splines. Like just Octane scatter that everywhere. It's gonna look good.
I smell a daily render coming on.
I smell it.
People, I'm looking at you. Come on. Come on.
The
you guys
best
were already
pile of
talking about
poo.
the Greeble poo.
Oh my gosh.
That EJ.
Greeble poo.
Anyway.
Wow. Okay. So
I'm back in Charlottesville. Schmoopy's been tearing it up in my house, like ripping out the wallpaper. Like thank God she's a handy lady, because I don't know how to do any of that stuff, and I would be up Emoji Poo Creek. But yeah, she's been pulling off the carpet from the stairs, and so we're just scrambling to sell my house. And I've been teaching some VFX classes to students in Charlottesville, which was crazy too with all this KKK stuff, because like on Friday I wasn't even allowed to let the students go out to get lunch. They had to stay in because of all the potential like violence and madness. So they just brought us.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, they just brought us pizza, which was cool. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy here right now.
Man, they need to squash that situation quickly.
I know, seriously. Yeah, it's like Charlottesville's in a state of emergency. It's just crazy that this stuff is happening like just a mile or two away from.
But you're working on a few different projects, including the Katy Perry stuff.
Katy Perry,
right?
yeah. So that's been going.
Can you talk about that? Are you able to talk about that?
I don't even know. I'm under NDA, so
can't talk about what exactly.
I can't talk about exactly what it is, but it's been frustrating because I'm only on a laptop right now. Machine, but they're.
Did you take all your computers and stuff to San Diego already?
Yeah, except for my iMac and my laptop. So I'm talking to you guys right now on my Retina iMac, and I've got my laptop with a 980M. So I've just been doing the whole thing on a 980M, which doesn't work so good.
You don't have TeamViewer and
Dropbox
render nodes set up.
No,
Dropbox,
that would be smart. But my computers are so crappy. Back at one of them just freezes constantly, and I'm gonna have to replace the motherboard. The other one does a thing where it restarts because of Windows updating. So it's just not possible for me to do that. But
dude. Speaking of Windows updating, so yesterday, I believe, I was having issues. That stupid
screen that keeps coming up and saying something about privacy settings that won't go away.
Other than that, I'm going through and my After Effects is being crappy. It's like crashing and Cinema's crashing. So, I was like, maybe if I just reset my computer, it's been on for a couple days, And so I go down to the start menu and I see shut down, update and shut down, restart and update and restart. And I was like, okay, well, I don't want to update right now. I just want to restart. I clicked on restart and it freaking updated and restarted.
What jerks.
Oh my gosh.
It tricked me.
Which version? Which computer is this?
That was the one at ABC.
Okay, so here's the thing. If it's the Pro version of Windows, you can tell it not to do that.
Yeah, I don't have that.
Yeah. And so what really irks me is that when you buy a Razer computer like we bought, that should come with a professional version.
So
that should not have the home version.
A lot of
what
money.
Are all the differences between the professional and the home versions? I don't even know.
It's more admin controls
about tree fitting.
About tree
fitting. But the thing is, you have more control over hey, don't do these stupid updates when I'm in the middle of something. And that's what bugs the crap out of me is it's we cannot install your updates right now, but you have to upgrade to this new version of Windows. Oh, by the way, in order to upgrade to the new version of Windows, you're going to have to shut down and restart and install the updates.
That's all right.
Why?
At least I'm on a computer that I can actually update versus my Mac. Gosh.
All the uploading, downloading. Stop all the downloading.
Stop all the
I'm a computer.
Hey kid, I'm a computer.
I'm a computer.
Stop all the downloading.
What is that from? Family Guy, probably.
The G.I. Joe fake heads. God, classic E-Bombs World.
Classic E-Bombs
I
World.
miss those days.
Oh yeah, me too.
Do you?
Sorta.
Have you guys been to E-Bombs World? You would just like hang out on these sites because like that's all there really was
all
to
there
look at on
was.
the internet.
Yeah. Something awful for
I
him.
miss that. Yeah.
E-Bombs. How did they even come up with
Newgrounds.com.
that name? E-Bombs World.
I don't know, but it's so catchy.
I don't know, but then like the forum turned into this huge like underground hacking network or something.
Oh yeah?
I don't know. Yeah, it's weird.
Jeez.
S-
Well, it's a lot
Beginning
cleaner
of
than it
4chan
used to
days.
be, but it's definitely a little bit dirtier.
You're on E-Bombs
Oh,
World
yeah.
right now. You
Oh,
would.
yeah,
there's,
totally.
like, porn ads on it probably now, right?
Maybe.
So we are going to keep this a short show, so only 4 hours.
Right.
Um,
I got.
We
Okay,
are
here's my
super-
cutoff is 11:30 because I got to get over to Cane's with Chelsea, which is like. So there's this chicken.
Okay.
Cane's.
Oh my
Raising
gosh,
Cane's
yeah.
Oh,
chicken.
we got it
Oh,
here,
no?
bro.
We've got lots
Okay,
of Canes. I got
all
a
right.
Canes right next to my house, brother.
Seriously, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
better than any other. Like I didn't like fried chicken until I tried this, and
like
this is
crack.
a recent experience for me, like a month or two ago.
It's the sauce.
It's the cane
Yeah.
sauce, but also it's just like the freaking crispy chicken. Like I used to have KFC as a kid, and I hated it. KFC's awful,
Yeah.
but Cane's
Oh, man,
is
it's so
good.
good.
Yeah.
No,
Anyway,
no.
So
KFC,
11:30.
give me a KFC chicken bowl any day, and like I
Gross.
will have lots of poop emojis. You know,
Oh,
but it is
the
so
worst.
worth it.
No.
It's just
No,
goulash
it's
of mashed
disgusting.
potatoes and chicken and corn. You want to
So
just mash
perfect.
your food and
I
put it in a
hate
blender
KFC.
and drink it. Gross.
Disgusting.
Anyway,
So yeah. Anyway.
dude, Canes is the bomb.
Yeah.
Okay, so your hard out
Yeah. Hard out.
is 11:30 and it's 10 o'clock your time.
Yes.
So we got an
let's
hour
do
and a
an hour
half.
show.
All right.
So it'll almost be a
Okay.
2-hour show.
Almost.
All right.
There we go. We're
So
fine.
we have a lot going on. We've been working like crazy people.
Yep.
We are booked basically almost through the end of September, which is amazing and awesome, but also super
Stressful.
super crazy, stressful.
Same.
But we're working it out. It's that whole feast or famine thing that you got to deal with in this industry, I guess. So we've been working at Already Been Shoed with Barton Damer,
Yeah, it's been
which is really
this
fun.
has been
I'm
one
jealous.
of the coolest experiences in Mograph. You know, like he's such a chill dude, and like
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like we were talking to him. I was talking to him the other night after everyone left. You know, he was working on some stuff, and like I was asking him basically business questions. You know, because Dave and I are working on running our small studio. You know, we're working from home, but we're running a small studio. You know, running it like a small studio, and it's like, you know, asking him questions and blah blah blah, and he's giving me answers, and it's like, I told him, I said, dude, but because we're working for him for the whole month to help out on some projects, and I said, dude, I guarantee you, by the end of the month, I will learn more. I will get more from you than you will from me. Which may not
It's
say
like-
much about my work, but whatever.
It's like you got an internship at ABC, basically.
Nice.
I know, right?
Paid internship, bro.
Speaking of which,
Are you guys allowed to talk about what the actual work that you've been
no.
doing?
I don't think we are.
not
Okay.
not until it's out.
Cool.
Yeah, we're gonna let him post it,
Fair
and then we'll
enough.
repost it like crazy.
Totally.
Yeah. But he's got an intern. Is it Maddie? Was that right?
I believe so.
Okay.
I'm terrible with names, you know that.
She took a picture with us yesterday, actually,
Mm-hmm.
and posted it on Instagram. She hit me up on Instagram. I need to get back to her. She wants a shirt. She wants a Brograph shirt.
Oh, really?
yeah,
heck yeah.
She was wondering if we had like a I don't know. I'm not used to giving out small Brograph shirts. We're usually going to, conventions with dudes who sit in front of computers all day.
Right.
So
It's true.
we might have to order her one.
What's a small?
Small.
Extra small?
It reminds me of the Simpsons,
Yeah.
where he's trying to
Gime?
return the.
Oh,
No, Gime. Oh, a Gime. No, he's trying to return the Star Trek utility belt. And he's like, "Do you have a receipt?" He's like, "Of course I do not, but I find it highly illogical as the average Trekkie has no use for a medium-sized belt."
Awesome.
It's funny.
So we'll send her that. And we, working up there, we've been working on PCs all week,
Yeah.
which is like
It's
weird.
normal for me.
Yeah, I'm used to it now.
But here's the thing, like they're so far away. ABC is from where they're right by Matt, but they're
Yeah.
so far away from me
They put you
that
up in a
during the
hotel?
weekdays, Well, I've been just staying at a hotel.
Yeah.
So like a long-term stay type thing. Kind of a cheap place so that it doesn't really cost that much.
Oh,
And
good.
It's right, it's nearby, so I don't have to do the hour and a half commute each way.
Yeah, that would suck.
And
That would be horrible.
so, not being home, I haven't been on my Mac at all. And I had my PC laptop with me, and we're working on PCs all day. And it is amazing how quick the muscle memory changes. I was sitting here today.
My pinky finger
for the first
is so
time.
active. Like now I'm back on a Mac
Yes.
temporarily, and I'm like, oh, what's this command key? I hate it.
So
Yeah, because your
Here's-
pinky starts becoming your thumb.
Yeah, exactly.
here's the thing that I
know?
absolutely love about my setup. So my main computer is a PC. My side computer is a Mac. I'm working off of a Mac keyboard, but I'm running Synergy across all of them, so I can use the same keyboard and mouse, or also now called Seamless. And when I'm on my PC, I can use my my control button just fine, and the command button will be the Windows button, right?
Right.
But when I go over to my Mac, I can actually use the command button as a normal like Mac button, so I
Cool.
can use
Right.
either, which is really neat.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And
Cool
we've
story,
also been
bro.
working on these ultra wide 21:9 monitors.
Yeah, I'm jealous of that too. I need one of those. I
Dude.
need that and the clacky
So-
keyboard, the dead mouse keyboard, Razer.
Right?
Yep.
The Razer clickety
I
clack,
need my
which I've
rainbow
got
lights
here.
up in my face.
Yep.
Yeah, there's so much. You can do like the ripple effect on the keys to where you
Yeah.
type a key
It's
and
so
like the lights
stupid.
ripple out.
Oh, no
It's
way.
ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Isn't that incredibly distracting?
Yeah, I
yeah,
don't really
yeah,
use
yeah,
it. Yeah.
Yeah, especially.
But we're using the ultra wides, and of course, we've been talking about getting monitors for some of our new gear and our PCs and stuff. And Matt and I are like, all right, we're gonna go find
Yeah.
some of these.
We're having
monitors.
a good month. Let's go spend it all.
right,
Right.
yeah.
So we went and bought, matching 21:9
Oh, you guys are
monitors.
so cute with your matching 21 by
Yeah.
9 month.
Dude, we had to go to like 3 different stores before we could find the one we wanted. It was
But the thing is, it's $200 and something more for the curved version.
yeah.
And
I don't know if I care
you
about the
don't-
curve versions.
Here's what I'm going to tell you about
some
the
of them are
curve.
so curved, like the curves are too deep on some of them, and that looks really weird to me.
Well,
Right.
here's what I'm going to say about the curved ones. The curved ones are awesome when you're working, right? Like it feels pretty good. It feels pretty immersive, but if you're doing any sort of straight line stuff,
Yeah,
you know,
that'll
like
mess
an
you up.
illustrator, nope, it's all curved. Like
Oh,
those
that's
straight lines are
stupid.
all curved.
Screw that.
Yeah, so that's like I immediately was like, I do not want curve because I want to be able to see straight lines all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sitting in front of it all day, you forget that it's even curved. It doesn't even matter. Like I was looking at it the other day, I'm like, is this the curved one or not? Because there's
Yeah.
a mix of both there.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter, and you don't want to spend the extra money because
Yeah,
you're
it's-
already spending a lot of extra money to get the higher resolution.
Which do those
Yeah. 'Cause
cost?
this
Like
is the-
$700.
Yeah, there's
600 and something.
600.
Yeah.
Almost, yeah.
and they're 4K, right? Basically.
Well, they're close to their, 33 something,
Right.
But that's why you got to be careful. There's the LG monitors, but you have to look because you'll see some of them are like about 350.
About
true.
350.
And and those are only like 2000 something, and we looked at them and you can definitely tell, like if you look at the icons, they look a lot more pixelated. So if you're going to do this type of work on these monitors, you have to step it up to the near 4K, especially if you want to future proof it. I mean, I don't buy monitors often. My monitors will last me like a decade. I'm still on the 23-inch cinema displays that came out in what, 2000? I don't
A
know.
long
Wow.
time ago, yeah.
So, if you want to future proof it, spend the extra money.
Cool.
Word.
And I got Matt already had them, but the Bose headphones, the Comfort 35s.
They're so
and-
incredible. I've had them since Christmas. I told Amy,
Oh,
I said
man.
that's the only thing I want for Christmas. Just a good pair of headphones. I was using some Sennheisers,
good.
and the Sennheisers are great. I love Sennheiser, but like these Bose, like when the sound canceling technology first came out, it was probably back in like, I don't know, 2005 or so. My dad was flying all the time. So Bose actually sent him the very first version,
Nice.
and then sent him again like 6 months later, the newest version. And he gave me his old ones. And like it's incredible. Ever since, like, I've been a Bose fanboy when it comes to noise canceling. And so I mean, yeah, they're just as pricey as the Beats, and the Beats are crap, you know?
Yeah, and the noise cancellation, it's so good that it's... Have you ever stood in like a studio, an audio studio, in one of the booths, and it's just so... It's like deafening, it's so silent?
Yeah.
That's kind of like what happens. You turn it on and everything just disappears. You hear no more air conditioning.
Weird.
You don't realize how much you're actually hearing.
Yeah.
But like they have the best sound cancellation and they sound so good.
Yeah.
So I've been listening to like stuff on it. You know, you get a new pair of headphones, you want to listen to your music again for the first time, essentially, you know? So, and it filters out everything else.
I don't know if I want sound canceling headphones because sometimes I want to be able to hear... Like, if I'm driving and I know I shouldn't have headphones, you can turn that off. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can turn them on and off.
Yeah. I want to be able to hear people yelling at me when I'm about to bump into them by accident and stuff like that.
Well, why are you wearing headphones in your car?
That's illegal.
I don't usually. I usually put it through the Bluetooth, but sometimes I'll like because with the crappy Apple headphones, you can still hear like somebody beeping at you or anything else, you know, while you still have headphones in. But if it were sound canceling, then it would actually be dangerous.
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's deafening silent. I've been listening to...
It's deafening silent, bro.
I've been picking up on some of the hip hop that Barton's been listening to.
Oh, nice.
And checking out some new stuff.
Are you just over at your desk, like, you know,
Shazamming everything?
Yeah, soon I'm gonna see
some of it I already know.
And then you're making your own Barton playlist on Spotify.
Right. Soon your office is gonna look like a sneaker store, like, you know.
Oh yeah. Just
like totally textured brick and...
Yeah, I keep on making this joke because people will come up and like kind of like poke their head through the glass to kind of see what
the door is locked. You know?
It's like in this like small downtown shopping center kind of,
like historic,
like old historic shopping center, right? So people will kind of poke their heads in, and every time I'm like, "Hey, y'all sell shoes in here?
You sell shoes or what?
You guys sell skateboards?"
Yeah, well, Matt, you've already got the culture going to some degree because you've got all the skateboards behind you already.
Yep. Got my half res and got my Gate and D Simone skateboard.
Yeah, Gate and D Simone.
You need to start listening to some hip hop, and it'll be just like ABC there.
I listen to
Future. Listen to some Future.
Now I listen to Deltron 3030. That's the best hip hop album there is.
There's Future now. That's
Chelsea
popular with the kids.
Listening to some old school Run DMC the other day. Tricky.
Nice. Nice.
Tricky.
Just
last night I was listening to
Wild
Wild West by Will
that was
Smith.
the best snowboarding game, dude.
It was the best snowboarding game.
Best.
I love that game.
Oh my gosh, that was the best.
Yep.
I had every version of that.
Yeah, me too. I had SSX3 and
You guys are funny.
Future, The Weeknd is popular with the kids.
Yeah.
Popsicle Stand.
I don't know Popsicle Stand.
That's not real. I just, I mean, you can just throw any word out there.
Right. Yeah. All right.
The kids with the hipping and the hopping and the bopping.
Don't know what the jazz music is all about.
The jazz music. This is your uncle. He's a jazz musician. All right. Let's do Siggraph wrap up here and get to some motion graphics info.
Yeah. Last week we just posted all the interviews, so if you guys had a chance to listen to all the interviews, like we had a blast doing it, and it was cool to bring David in on a bunch of people interviewing.
Yeah.
He basically just saw cool people that he liked, and he's like, "Hey, I want to interview
that guy." The only person I didn't get to interview was Jan. I really wanted to interview
because we were like literally leaving right then.
But his talk was like a bombshell. Like the whole Slack blew up. Like as he was presenting.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it was partly because it was an extremely good presentation, but partly because he did that kind of like, in our last podcast, I was talking about how he kind of like poked the bear on the Octane Facebook group with like comparing different artists to each other and showing how like even the high end like daily rendering people like Joseph Bashara and Hoodass will occasionally like totally copy each other and like have compositions and like themes that are extremely similar. So he kind of like was showing at the end of his presentation like sets of 3 images at a time that were really good looking but extremely similar, and like these trends, and saying he was just kind of like, I don't know, yeah, just heckling people to some degree. Yeah.
Word. I really liked Nick Lyon's presentation.
Oh, I
liked
missed
it
that
a
one.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was all the Ghost in the Shell stuff, and like, man, that one was super duper cool.
I
They're
missed
already
Jeremy's
putting out-
too. I'm bummed. Like, yeah, they're already putting out the first.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really quick.
It's fast. Yeah.
That's faster than NAB.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
They
My
must
other,
have a formula now.
Who's out already? EJ and Mitch. I know Mitch for sure.
and that guy that's he did like some 3D tracking. Eric Smith was like kind of their demo artists for like the new.
Here, I will
features.
tell you. EJ Hassenfratz.
Thank you
Oh
so
boy.
Oh,
Eric
there's EJ.
Nicholas Smith.
Yeah. that guy.
Steve Teeple and Mitch Myers.
Yeah, I love.
I am still,
Steve Teeple's
like-
presentation, like super so much. Did you guys catch any of that or no?
I want to say I caught a little bit. The problem is like when you're out working, like we're doing interviews and we're trying to catch as many of the people that. Here's the thing, like it's not like we don't want to. I would love to just sit and watch every single one of them, but I know they're going to be on Cineversity.
I know
and like,
it's hard to do that.
Yeah, and like I really like interviewing. I like catching the ones of the people that like I really talk to and like kind of make connections with and stuff like that at Siggraph, because I really want to support the people that like I'm kind of like talking to and hanging out. You know, I don't know if that's weird.
Well,
No,
yeah, you want to
no.
have like some content to talk about as
Yeah.
well in the interviews too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to interview people who I just seen their presentations versus like kind of coming in being like, hey, what was your presentation about? Sorry, I missed it. You know,
Right.
but now I'm going to interview you. You know, but yeah, like Steve's was kind of mind blowing for me because it's one of those presentations with like really hacky solutions that I super appreciate. And he was showing how like I totally want to do this, and it would be really fun to like get a bunch of good motion capture animations in there and create like an interesting, you know, almost performance from a digital actor and then shoot that. But he was showing how with Mixamo, you know, you can easily like auto rig and apply animations to whatever the heck, you know, character you want. But he also showed a really clever way to blend several different sources of motion capture together into one seamless animation. So, so like, you know,
Man, I'll have to watch that. Who was that again? Steve Teeple?
Teeps. Do you know like the motion clips system? Have you ever used that before?
I haven't, no.
It's like a nonlinear editor inside of Cinema 4D. So you can basically take any animation and say, make this into a motion clip. And then it's like, it looks like an NLE. And if you have multiple animations, you can overlap them, and then you'll get a weird cross-dissolve looking thing. And it'll literally blend between those animations for that segment. And because it's taking...
like tweening the animation kind of.
Yeah, exactly. And because you're taking the same, you know, motion capture rigs and it's the same model as well, it works to blend seamlessly between those. So it'll just kind of, you know, it'll just blend that in whatever way you want, like linear or smooth. But also like one issue that arises is that, you know, there's like an offset between like if the dude like runs and kicks, he's going to be in a totally different position than an idle animation or something else. But Steve showed how there's this weird thing called the pivot that actually allows you to offset. It's almost like an axis, but it's its own thing called the pivot that allows you to offset where that motion capture begins, and then you can seamlessly blend between those. And he even showed that you could like rotate the axis of the pivot to get like weird gravity effects where his dude would like jump and then he would change the pivot, and so he would like land on, you know, the wall. So it would be like this interesting like matrix like gravity change thing. So
that's cool.
Super cool. Like, and you know, it's funny because in the Slack, people were like, this isn't the way you do true animation and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, who cares? Like, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
So I really, you know, do a lot of that. Yeah. Love that
motion
guy.
Capture and character rigging, like rigging and motion capture is something that I wish I knew more of.
Yeah.
You know,
well, but this totally
like,
bypasses the rigging part. You know, it's like totally achieved.
Well, I'm actually referencing EJ's talk. Like EJ, like I watched his and
was really
just
good.
the little rigging of the little
just
guy,
the little
you know,
octo dude. Yeah,
yeah, it's like that's so cool.
Yeah, it was so cool.
Anyway,
yeah, and then the other thing I was going to say about Jans is that if if you guys missed it, like you should definitely check it out when it comes out. He showed like that Transformers logo resolve animation. Did you guys see that on the Octane forum? That thing was sick.
I didn't
so
see
it
that
turns
one.
out he did that whole thing practically like by himself, with almost no help from other people at the mill. And then it was just like mostly object rotations and scaling, but the tunnel itself he built in a day just from Video Copilot's like their motion design 2-pack. It has a bunch of tunnels, and he just kit bashed using that. So it was great to see like this super high end thing he managed to kit bash with freaking Video Copilot. So that was cool. And
That's awesome.
He also talked about his piece, The Americans, which are those complex looking X particles, weave kind of textures coming over faces. And it's almost like all this yarn, that's forming all of these interesting faces. And I had some idea how you would do that with like X particles like follow surface. But I didn't know about the X and Y limits. So that's like a constraint you can put on it. So it'll only move in like horizontal or vertical directions. So that's how he got these kind of cross-hatched looks where, a set of particles are moving vertically and a set are moving horizontally. And then you can do these like, you can kind of have it, create some variation from the offset between the model and where the splines are, so that way you get them not all in the same kind of plane, so they're not all like intersecting. You get them looking like some are above and some are below, so you get this kind of weave look, which is really cool.
That's
and then
cool.
Finally he showed his workflow with like motion sculptures. Do you know what I mean by motion sculptures?
No, I don't.
So like this trend where someone will take mocap and then basically put a bunch of nulls on it and create like just a set of sweeps or like trails, and you get like this interesting path. So say you have a dancer and you like trace a bunch of nulls off of that motion capture, you'll get like this interesting looking sculpture based off of where those points have traveled that looks like some kind of interesting form.
And people do it with particles too.
Exactly, that's what I mean, particles.
Okay.
Yeah, that kind of thing. But he showed, but like an issue, and one of my friends in San Diego had the same kind of thing where he had like all these like trails, but he wanted to have them dynamically move after the fact. Like a lot of the time, you'll have these trails, but then they're just locked. And so this dude was solving it with Houdini, but Jan approached one of his friends because he didn't want to just apply like a displacement deformer with noise, because that just gets this kind of like wiggly, like not really a good look. He wanted like more dynamics, so his friend actually like wrote this script that's now free on Jan's site, so you guys should check that out, that allows you to create like dynamic splines after the fact. So it's almost like following the motion and inheriting that speed and trajectory, or have it like be affected by gravity or different forces. So it's just kind of a cool thing that's actually really difficult to do in X particles or anywhere almost, unless you have like Houdini. So it's cool. Like I love it when there are these things coming in that are like, you don't need to go to Houdini necessarily. Yeah.
Did you guys catch Old Gavarsh's talk?
Code. No, I missed hers unfortunately, but I really want to see it.
Man, it was so good.
She works
like
where does she work at
stuff.
it's a studio in Canada.
Moment Factory.
Moment Factory. Yeah, my buddy Tim Rice, I think, works there too. It's like some big studio, and they do some crazy projection work and all sorts of stuff.
It was like the work that they did on the Muse tour or whatever. That was incredible.
Sweet.
Like just showing the footage. Holy cow! It was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Anyway, what else we got, Dave?
She talked about a piece of software you can integrate for doing like Connect and Leap Motion stuff too. I gotta look that up because I want to know more about that.
It's called like I don't know, Break.
Because I've had a Leap Motion since way back in the developer days, and I would love to do something with it. I always wanted to integrate it into Cinema somehow.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, the last thing I forgot is that I also learned that you can project splines. Did you guys know about that? So like if you've got a spline and you want it to like wrap onto a face, you can just project it on there. I didn't know that. So that was cool.
Yeah.
It's a little wonky at times. It doesn't always work the way you think it would work. Like it's sometimes you got to mess with it quite a bit to get it to work right. But yeah, I've done that before. I guess, well, just going in order of
the days.
like chronologically, we got in Monday, we did the podcast in the hotel room, which was fun.
Oh my gosh, that was such a fun podcast.
I love that Nick and Chris were just
seven
like,
of
passed
us
out on
just
the bed.
hanging out,
Yeah.
shooting the crap. That was fun.
That was great.
And what was really cool about it, like, it was like, oh, this person did a tutorial about this. Oh, wait, he's here. Let me just grab it
Right.
real quick,
Yeah.
Chris, wake
or,
up.
hey, did you see that cool thing that so-and-so did? Oh, he's right here,
Right. Sage actually said on Twitter, note to self, don't listen to Brograph's episode 94 at work. My stomach literally hurts trying to hold in the laughs.
Which one was that one?
That was
I thought he was
People's People episode.
I guess that was I thought he was talking about the last one, but he was talking about the original People's People episode.
So terrible.
Which we will have that segment today, so
Yay.
nobody worry, it's
Huge.
coming. And so we did that. Mitch was on the show. Now Mitch and Brandon are two people we would love to have on. Really have more of a deep conversation with Mitch, but then talk to Brandon, who I talked to on Facebook today, and he said that he really wants to come do the show. So
Sweet.
we'll totally geek out about some Octane and Redshift and all that kind of fun stuff. Yeah,
Redshift.
Redshift.
You guys are freaking me out. I don't wanna.
Well, hold on. We'll get to that in
We'll get to
Ravcock.
that. Okay.
Hold on.
Sorry.
Because that's going to be a whole nother conversation, isn't it? All right. So we did that. Then Tuesday, everything started. We did a ton of interviews. And that night went out to the Firehouse restaurant place.
That was fun.
Fire engine something.
We met up. Yeah, we met up with Sarah, who we've been talking to for quite a while online. Emailing and stuff. Finally got to meet in person, and
that was very cool.
We did an interview with her too. And I love just kind of the general feeling of introducing people to each other, and other Maxon people,
I feel like
passing it down,
I feel like we were talking about this. It's like, David, you introduced us to all the Maxon people, and so we're now getting to play the David part and passing that on to new people that we have met.
Totally.
And say, hey, meet all these cool people.
Cool. Yeah.
And so that that was fun. We were sitting actually next to some of the Germans.
The Germans.
Yeah. And it's really cool because we were talking about features and stuff, and it's like, oh, I just happen to have a ongoing notepad thing in my iCloud that says all the stuff I want to add to Cinema 4D. Let me tell you about some of them.
Yeah.
But that's really cool because they're sitting there taking notes, like they really want to know.
Yeah. Well. And like at NAB actually last year, not this year, I was talking to what's his name, Burned, the dude with the ponytail. That's the German Maxon. I think he's the product manager. But it was funny because he was like, what would you want to see from Cinema 4D? And I was like, well, I would want a lot more Houdini like things that are not as hard as Houdini. Like I want to do like destruction and like all this cool stuff, but I don't want to have to learn Houdini. So, but very shortly after, I think he was probably laughing to himself because very shortly after, R18 was released, which had the macaroni fracture. So they're starting to
and the Houdini engine integration.
Yeah. Well, no, that was already there. The Houdini.
Yeah, that was already there.
Oh, it was already there.
Yeah, it was. Okay. So that was cool. But yeah,
the
it's great to talk to those
fracture.
guys. For sure.
Yeah, they're cool. They're cool. I was pushing
stuff,
them on light. I was like,
okay,
these are the three things. Because I've been in light a lot, and I've been trying to do some cool stuff with it.
Yeah.
And I was like, these are the main things that I want in light. And like it's what was it? And I understood. I actually came to a realization of like, okay, I can't have all these things. Because what they're trying to do with light is actually like get people to start using it and get used to it. It's not so much for which you can model. You just can't model like you can in Cinema 4D with like extrudes and all that other stuff. And so they're trying to it's more like a more features version of Element 3D, where basically you can bring in projects and you can bring in models and then texture them and light them and do animation with them, versus like actually modeling and doing dynamics and stuff like that. Anyway, but I was like, I just want connect and delete. Really, connect and delete is the only thing that I want. Please give me to connect and delete. So, anyway.
Yeah,
Mr.
Dave had his
C40
kind of
light.
like list of you've been like collecting a list of like feature requests for some time, so you're like, oh boy, here's what I want.
Here's everything.
Though a lot of them had been actually addressed. You said
They had.
yeah,
They had. And some of them I didn't really feel like it was worth bringing up to directly to the engineers. You know what I mean? There were just some major. One of the things in particular was like, if we're trying to do a password protect on Espresso, please give us a password confirmation so that we don't accidentally type the wrong password. And
that I think
took
that's
note of that.
Obscure.
Excellent. Yeah, that is scary.
The one that I liked the best that you said was being able to add commas for frames that you want to render. So you like 1 through 5, comma 15, comma 24 through 36, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was like, yeah, we thought about it and we almost implemented it, but then we didn't.
Yeah, and I was
funny.
like, that's the whole thing it's the whole reason for it is so you can go to sleep.
Yeah, but you have to think about it this way. If you're running dynamics and stuff like that, you either have to bake your dynamics.
You bake the dynamics. Yeah, that's fine.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm
but it
just
will
saying.
recalculate it. If you calculate dynamics and you run, or even if you don't calculate dynamics and you do a certain section, it knows to calculate the dynamics up into that point.
Yeah, that's true too.
So-
Sometimes that gets wonky though. I mean, with any dynamics, I bake it because if you run a simulation multiple times, it's not always consistent each time, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the difference between CPUs, CPU architectures changes your dynamics.
Oh, really?
Too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yes, and that's why if you are rendering on a team render with
bake
different
that.
architectures,
Yeah.
you have to bake it because that actually happened to me once. We were doing a 20 node render farm with a mix of Intel and AMD, and all the frames were just like randomly sporadic. And
That
I'm
sucks.
like, well, all these were good, but these AMD processors were wrong.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm like,
ran into
this is
stuff
because
like that a lot
it's different.
recently with the fluid job that I was doing with all the like real flow and X particles and also dynamics. I had, but yeah, I got really irritating switching between computers, so I definitely ended up baking everything. But even then, sometimes I had issues, and I don't really love jobs with like heavy dynamics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's weird though because you would think that dynamics were mathematically based and that the math behind them is the same, but it's like technically like they're in slightly different universes with different laws of physics. Being a different processor.
Yeah.
So maybe that's how parallel universes work.
Yeah.
They're running on different processors,
Running on different processors.
Yeah.
and so the results are slightly
Yes.
different.
Do you guys want
Yes.
to geek about X particles real quick? You want to save that for a little
My
later?
man.
Well,
No,
I
we can
just
geek
want
out about
to
X particles.
real quick. This isn't in the notes, so I'm gonna go off the rails a little bit. But I wanted to say thank you to every single person who came up to us who said like they listened to the show. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you guys are absolutely fantastic, and I can't even believe that you guys are real.
Yeah.
For
on
one.
on a similar note,
You know?
thank you to everybody that came up and said that they liked my tutorials and that the tutorials helped. I was super surprised that people coming up to me.
Your
so that was
schmoopy
cool.
groupies.
My schmoopy groupies.
Oh my gosh, that's so good. Yeah, Octane Jesus and his schmoopy groupies.
Oh my god.
That's a great
your
band.
new band name.
That's your
name.
new
Yeah.
T-shirt. That's your
Yeah.
new T-shirt.
Okay.
Octane Jesus and the Schmoopy Groupies. And it's like you kind of doing this thing like with your hands out, like, like
Octane Jesus, I'm rendering. I'll have like I don't know, like some GPUs in one hand and what else?
No, it
Doesn't
should be
matter.
like the Last Supper. Like
Oh,
that's
yeah,
you
okay.
holding out your hands, and then you got all the
I've got
groupies
all
around
the
you,
groupies.
and then you got
Schmoopies
Judas
on my lap.
in the back. Anyway,
Octane Jesus. He's
Octane Jesus.
unbiased for your sins.
Nice. Oh my god.
anyway,
That reminds me of this conversation about biased versus unbiased that I had with Siggraph with what's his name?
Morrow.
Yeah. That guy.
Well, I would just like to point
Mauro.
out that you have to leave in an hour.
Okay, we
Oh,
can't
yeah.
do that. You're right.
And
Let's
we
just
have a lot
skip
to go
X-Particles.
through.
We do need to have that conversation, though.
We do. Yes,
'Cause what does it
absolutely.
even
Remember that
mean,
for
you
next
guys?
time.
I mean, it's not really like, I don't know. He had way smarter things to say, and I don't even totally remember exactly what he said. I wish I could like repeat it back. The essence is, what the hell does that even mean? It's like it totally means different things for developers and for like you guys, like the community.
Right.
And he's like, if like you're doing noise reduction, that makes it biased. Like anything that takes it away from the exact real world how it would be calculated is
purity.
biased. So he's like, he was basically like, it's all BS, yo. Like stop talking about biased versus unbiased renders. Like, you know, even though Redshift is quote biased, like it's unbiased. I don't know. Like he doesn't think.
No, I'm pretty sure
it
Redshift is
It's-
unbiased.
It's
No, it's
no,
biased.
it's biased.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I'm like
Yeah.
misquoting, but like.
Well,
I think
Brandon was
he's
just talking about that
basically
on
like, if it's
Facebook.
close enough to a real world simulation, you know, yes, you can break reality.
Yeah.
Yes, you can do light linking, but that doesn't necessarily like, he doesn't think that should make it so that you call it biased, right? Because that's like a feature. It's an option. It's not a bad thing. Like Octane, the reason he thinks that they do that is because it slows it down. There's no light linking because it slows it down, because it's an extra, you know, little bit of processing that has to happen, and they want to be the race car, you know, and the fastest.
Yeah, but they still do path tracing in PMC.
I
Like,
know, it's weird.
you know, that makes it slower.
I don't know. We'll talk
Yeah.
about that in Ravcock.
Yeah.
So X Particles, you guys
Yeah,
have been playing with
X-Particles.
that a lot at ABC.
Yes, and I mean that's all I can say as far as the
content.
You know what it is.
What did you guys
But I
learn?
will tell you, here's what I learned, because I already knew it kind of well. Like I had used it a lot in the past, but it had been a while, so I was like, "Oh, it's coming back to me now," you know. And a lot of the options I had played with before, and using RealFlow for Cinema 4D, it's very similar. It's, you know, it's kind of like X Particles Lite in a way.
Yeah, RealFlow is
so-
RealFlow
easier. I feel RealFlow is easier than X Particles. It's not as deep.
Yeah,
That's
I'll
what I'm
agree
saying.
with
It's
that.
X
Like,
Particles Lite.
Yeah.
jumping into X Particles was a little difficult.
Yeah.
But then once I jumped into RealFlow, is like, oh, this is very simple to understand.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
And I love RealFlow because it's like it does do fluids a lot faster than X Particles, and potentially better with like better mesh calculations because it's so driven just towards fluids. And also, I love that it can do things like D-splines where you're getting the fluid to follow spline. There are just a lot more interesting options like noise and stuff that you can use to alter the fluid sims and stuff like that. But
Can you not get X Particles to follow a spline?
Yeah, you can.
I think you can. You probably can. You're right, but
I don't see why.
I
you
don't know
couldn't.
about the.
Oh,
with the
actually,
fluid
I did that this
calculation,
week.
though.
Never mind.
Yeah.
But with the fluid calculation, I feel like it's maybe somewhat hard or something. I feel like RealFlow is more geared towards that, like right out of the box. Like, here's a D spline, get the fluid to follow the spline. It's really simple.
Yeah. Here's some things I learned about X Particles this week. And number one is kind of a question I'll put out there for anybody who uses X Particles, because I could not find the answer to this. And you think that this would be something super simple. And I just assumed that this is how it worked, is that the particles are not calculating like collision rotation noise on impact. So in other words, if you have a bunch of and you know what I would do is in preview mode, I would put them in the axes mode so you could see, you know,
Go ahead.
so you could see which way they're facing, and I would have them all face one direction, just to start, instead of making them random on the rotation. And when they would hit something and land and stop with a little bit of friction, they don't like hit and rotate around or fall or
Did you
anything
guys
based
solve
on the
that?
geometry of particles. I did not. So what I actually did was I ended up, well, first you can go into the external data section and you can add a rotation. But when you do that, you know, say you add like 50 degrees or something, the thing is just
That's
like
what they do.
it hits
I've
the
had
ground
issues
and
with
it's
this
just
too,
spinning.
getting particles to rotate. I figured it out somehow, but I can't remember how. I think there's like a rotator option as well. Like
Yes.
an actual. Yeah.
But
yes.
that's not part of the. You still have to keyframe it manually. So like in the
it's
external
weird.
data, like
It's not
on
like
the
dynamic,
rotation,
right? Yeah.
I would set a keyframe, and then I would change the keyframe when it hits to go down from like a rotation to 0, and it ignores those keyframes.
Right.
It basically can't do that. And so then I'd put the rotate, not a rotator, but there's two different types of rotation deals in there, and the one that makes them rotate, you can keyframe that one, the modifier or whatever it's called, to like slow down a rotation. But still, I had some stuff hitting the floor, and when it hit the floor, it would calculate the bounce and the noise and the friction, and everything else would be right, but they just wouldn't rotate based on anything.
Yep.
There was no rotational noise, and I thought, maybe there's something where I can have, some sort of activator to where it hits and it activates something that causes them to rotate. But there was no option to to do velocity or initial, like rotational velocity, or change it or make it spin or do anything when it hit the ground. And it's just like, am I missing something, or does it really not do that, like you would with like
Odds
a
are you were
cloner
probably
object?
missing something.
Probably.
And I looked through so many options. I searched the internet everywhere, and I couldn't find anything that says, this is how you do the noise, the collision noise.
I had an issue just getting particle to particle collisions happening, because that used to be easier, and then they like made it where you have to, like, in the dynamics, like, object, you have to add in a like XP particle collisions object, whereas before it was just like kind of a tick box in the actual emitter or something like that. But now there's like a separate, like, how there's like fluid dynamics, there's a separate object for particle to particle collisions. But that worked well. So maybe you should try that. That might
I've got to figure that out.
Because
it's so weird that and it's not basing it on the geometry either. It didn't seem like it was basing it on kind of like a bounding box for the geometry. So I don't know if that has to do with it, because
maybe
it's
it's
not
just
actually
really hard to. Maybe it's like because it's a particle engine. It's hard to, like, it's not what we would expect, like, from full dynamic, like, objects. Where it's like
it's calculating
sees all the
points.
detail. It's more like calculating points. And assuming there's spheres of a certain radius, or versus like all the detail within those objects might be too complex to calculate those kind of dynamics, because you can crank the particle number so high. I don't know.
Yeah, I just assume that's what it was.
Might be better to just, like, actually, rather than making those X particles, just do a regular old dynamic simulation, because it looked like you guys were
I was
just
thinking
trying to
that
get,
too.
A bunch of things to hit a floor. Just like clone out some objects and make it a dynamic, and give it some initial. How you can give it initial position and rotation, like give it a throw almost, just like throw it and then make it hit the ground and stuff.
Hit.
Stop trying to get
the other thing that I
X
thought
particles
was like really weird and super interesting is I was having this issue where I took something from one scene. It was basically a bunch of particles on a spline, but they were set to not do anything until activated by an explosion. What do you call it? The explosion modifier.
I know that one.
Action or whatever.
Yeah,
it's
motion
called.
modifier, right?
Yeah. Well, it's explosion.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but they're like the subset of things, like motion modifiers.
Motion modifiers. Okay, so I forget the names of the categories, because there's like generators, modifiers.
Yeah, there's generator. Yeah, exactly.
I always just click on them until I remember find the one I was looking for.
Yeah.
So the thing is, I pasted into the scene, and all of a sudden they weren't staying on the spline anymore. You would hit play, and they would start falling. And I was like, well, what am I doing wrong here? Because they're okay in this scene, but not in this scene. And I was looking through my options, looking through my modifiers, my includes, my excludes on everything. And come to find out, I was pasting it into another scene where there was already some objects in there that were based on some regular emitters with regular Cinema 4D gravity. I did not know that regular Cinema 4D gravity affects X particles.
It does. Yeah, well, the regular forces affect X particles, and I had that issue too on my Fluid Sims project, where like I was dropping those fruit and things into water, and when the particles were emitting, they were just like holding in place because I had all this friction going on, and the friction was affecting the fruit to make it look like it was hitting water. So it would like, slow down. So I realized that there's a tick box in each XP group or something. I can't remember if it was in the group or the emitter or the actual thing that's calculating the dynamics, like the fluid sim box. But somewhere in there was a tick box that said, forces from within this system. Yeah.
I got that's what. See, I just didn't exclude.
Okay,
but
that works.
Same difference.
Yeah, no, I mean, I felt like that was easier because then I didn't have to go in and be like, exclude all this other crap.
All of it, yeah.
Because my project, I had like 10 different systems, like one for each fruit. And I had like 10 different voxel boxes like that were being calculated for where each fruit landed and emitted particles, fluid and stuff. So that
fruit thing was awesome.
Easier. What's that? Everything was awesome.
I said everything is awesome.
That's what I thought you said.
No, I was saying that fruit thing was awesome.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it was fun.
So we gotta move it forward here so we get this thing done so you can get your heart out.
Real quick, I know. I'm terrible at like doing this, but I always
you're the one
shows. I know.
Yeah, you don't want to miss out on that canes.
The canes, I know, and my belly's rumbling as we speak, like imagining the canes. But my one little tip for X particles, this is a thing that I kept running into over. For whatever reason, I would like set something to render that had been cached, right? So I had this like almost day, I think it was like a 24-hour cache for that whole shot that lasted almost a minute. And like, several thousand frames. And in Octane, like it was, it should only take like 2 minutes per frame, but I would hit render and sometimes it would like jump up to like 9 or 10 minutes per frame. And I realized that's because even though I had cached it out, X Particles sometimes is really stupid about its caches and didn't recognize that there was a cache. So it was trying to recache on every one of those frames. So basically every time I opened a scene, I would have to go up to the XP cache object. And even though it was everything, all the tags had turned red as if it had been cached.
Right.
And everything was, I could even like scrub and it would be fine. But even then, it would still screw up. I would have to go in and just untick the cache object and then tick it back on. And somehow that solved it. So, yeah, if you've ever got XP cache issues, just like turn it off and on like a stupid computer and then it'll...
Try turning it off and on again.
Try turning it off again.
Oh, okay. Well, that explains the problem I had the other day. I think I know how to solve it now.
Good. Glad that helped.
Sweet.
But is it just me, or does it feel backwards, the colors for cache and not cache? It feels like if it's been
super backwards.
Cached, it should be green.
Yeah, it's red when it's cached. It's super weird.
It should be like red means it hasn't been calculated yet.
And green, you're good to go. Yeah, it's super weird and confusing.
Green means go.
First world problems.
First world. So back to Siggraph, you guys. Let's talk about. I had
Wednesday.
lunch with Beeple. I had lunch with Beeple and Brian Beam at Wolfgang Puck, and I managed to convince him to go. He was like all ready to jump off and do his daily render. And I was like, but is it? Are they fast there? I'm like, trust me, dude, they're fast there. And they wanted to maybe go to like Smashburger instead. I was like, no, Wolfgang Puck is so good.
Dude, Smashburger is pretty good though.
I haven't tried Smashburger, but we had a good lunch.
Wait, nah, Smashburger's just okay. Wait,
There was a point where we were standing there and like I was having a conversation with EJ and Beeple, and I forget what brought it up, but he realized he had to go do his render, and it was like instantaneous. Like,
I'm gone.
Okay, I'm out.
Yeah, no, he's so good.
Oh man, I got
I mean, it's so funny. He's like, he'll just peace out if he's got to go do his thing. It's just like.
Yeah,
ultimate priority. So it's inspiring to see. Yeah, but also hilarious.
Never mind. Smashburger is not that great. It's I was thinking of Shake Shack. Shake Shack is the bomb.
Shake Shack.
Yeah. We went there with Barton at NAB.
Yeah,
that was good.
Yeah. So Wednesday night we played ping pong,
which was fun.
That was fun.
And so here's the cool thing. So like the way we all started playing, it was just normal games and stuff. And then we started playing this awesome way where basically every single person was at one table and
Genius.
you rotate around it. And, if the person who it was their turn to hit, like you would hit once and then move. you know? And then if that person missed it or something, like they were out, and it would finally come down to like 2 people. What the
And
cool
you have
thing
to
is,
set your
once you were done, once you were out, you had to put your paddle down on the table, so it would mess up everyone's stuff.
Yeah.
And then Chris Schmidt had the genius idea of putting it upwards instead of just like flat on the table. Oh man, that caused all sort of chaos. It was awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Whose idea was that?
I don't know. They just started playing it. I will tell you, like, Paul Babb is...
He's a party animal.
Dude, he is.
Yeah.
And, like, he is so good at ping pong.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, crazy good at ping pong.
So is that 14-year-old kid. He's like a champion or something.
Yeah.
Winston.
And,
He's like a ranked tennis player.
Yeah.
Oh, the what's his name?
Winston?
Winston Matthews.
Winston, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
it like almost every game came down to Jeremy and Winston. Like
Yeah.
every single time.
Yeah, Jeremy clearly plays a lot of ping pong.
Yeah.
Oh, and we did go out. What was it after that we went out to
Yeah, it was.
that night?
And tried to crash the Arnold party.
The Arnold party, and we
Oh, you
couldn't.
did?
Yeah, we tried. It didn't
Is that the
happen.
night
We
that
all
I went out? There was a night, maybe it was Tuesday, maybe it was that
You-
night where I went out
You left
afterwards.
with Mitch.
Yeah, but then I went at some point to meet up with, I went to what's that hotel called? It starts with a B. It's like this crazy concrete building. Whatever.
No idea.
Anyway, I went there with Chris and with EJ, and I think it was the night EJ was leaving, so that must have been actually Tuesday night, the engine, whatever, dinner night, because, yeah, I went out with him afterwards, got some beers. It was the Bonaventure, which is this crazy hotel that feels like a parking garage on the inside. Just concrete everywhere. But yeah, it was cool because I went there with Chris and EJ and finally met this dude, Marty Kane, who I've been talking to a lot, another Octane guy, does all sorts of music videos up in LA. But yeah, so it was chill because it was like this 4th level, and it was this whole like cityscape and only us. Like we were in like the very back of this brewery, just like hanging out, and
It's a brewery. Of course, EJ was there.
of course EJ was there. Yeah. But yeah, that was a cool night.
Yeah, he was
Well-
actually, EJ was just texting us. So Dave and I will probably be in Colorado in October.
Oh yeah.
And so
I
we're
wanna go
talking
too.
about doing a Colorado showing up for Colorado C4D. And
Yeah.
EJ was just texting us saying, working on getting a brewery space booked for when you guys come to Denver.
Nice.
So,
What do you say? Like
That's gonna be fun.
Drunken Brograph podcast.
oh yeah. We're talking about doing the
Do it.
podcast live while we're there, which would be
Sweet.
lots of
That'd
fun.
be cool.
To
Just
it.
have people come up and talk to us.
Yeah.
Talk to the audience. This is always death.
Oh gosh.
So, yeah, okay. So we
Did
left
you
the
guys
ping
get
pong.
to the Arnold party?
Well, we left
No.
the ping pong place thinking that we were just
No,
going to go
every
back
single
to the
one
hotel.
of us was like, yeah, we're Chad Ashley.
yeah,
All of
Yeah.
us, we're all Chad Ashley.
Not as cool as
but
Chad Ashley. Yeah.
but Matt and I rented this because we always get stupid and rent something stupid. So we rented a convertible BMW.
Yeah, it was
Because
a
that
BMW
was
4
dumb.
Series. It was awesome.
In LA, like it's very, very cheap rental cars though. So we got a good deal on it, and we're like, yeah, whatever. I mean, when the van is $12, you spend it, 20, 30
An extra
bucks
20 to
for
get a convertible.
BMW. Yeah. So we come out of the party and we come out of the parking garage and we're like rolling down the street to the stoplight, and then like Chris Schmidt and like all these other people from the party were like crossing the street. They're like, "Woo! Look at you guys!"
Here's what's
like kicking the
stupid, like-
tires and
And here's what, like, I enjoy doing that stuff because it's fun, and like, okay, so our name is Brograph, but I really don't like portraying that bro mentality or bro stereotype, but boy does it happen.
yeah. Here we are in the BMW, just with the top
Just
down
broing.
and.
Yeah.
But they're like,
own
look
it,
at you,
man.
they're like
There's nothing
in
wrong
the
with
street
being a bro.
kicking the tires. they're like, what are you guys doing? We're like, oh, we're just going back. Well, we're gonna go crash the Arnold party. You want to go?
All right.
All right, sure. So we park and go down there and all that stuff, and then we get there and like everybody's like, I'm Chad Ashley. No, I'm Chad Ashley. No, I'm Chad Ashley.
Just
They're
shake
like,
your
well, we
head.
can't let you guys in.
Yeah.
So
start,
we got
anyway,
start
rejected.
saying how crappy Octane is, then they'll let you.
Oh, we'll
Yeah.
get there. Just wait.
So we ended up going across the street to like this place where you go like up a freight elevator and you end up on
this-
in this.
Bar
Yeah.
like on the top of the roof that has like a jacuzzi in it that anyone
Yeah.
can get in. It was
So
crazy.
people are like in the jacuzzi and drinking, and we're doing
Uh-huh.
tequila shots, and it was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was fun.
Cool.
So, anyway. All right, so let's move on.
Then you guys left me, and I went to
Sorry.
the Thursday Maxon party by my lonesome.
Sorry.
I
that
did.
was-
I did.
Schmippy was with you though, right?
Yeah,
yeah, no, of course.
and your
Hey,
Schmoopy groupies.
No, you're right.
Sorry
I'm
to
not alone.
go off on a tangent.
Because she's there.
Let
And it's great.
let your Schmoopy know that we absolutely love her.
Oh,
Yeah.
That
that's
she is so
sweet.
great.
You guys are really
Like
sweet.
literally,
Awesome.
I was thinking
Yeah,
about
I
it
love
today.
her.
I was like, I'm watching all the posts she's been putting on Facebook of you guys cleaning the house and stuff, and just
Yeah.
she's so great to you.
She is awesome.
let her
to
know
me.
that we
She's
love
so
her.
badass. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh,
Anyway.
you guys are getting schmoopy on me.
No, you're Schmoopy.
No, you're schmoopy.
Anyway,
So Matthias had a great idea
yes.
for doing a non-reel.
Okay, so you put the best stuff on your reel, like absolute best stuff.
Not the
but
pay the
here's-
bills stuff.
Put the
Yeah,
terrible
not the
stuff
pay
on
the
it?
bill stuff. Everyone does pay the bills stuff. Everyone has done just the stupidest,
phone it in.
worst work ever. Phoned it in totally.
Nice.
This is what we want to see, and I'm gonna put this call out there. All right.
Okay.
I want to
Non-reel.
see a non-reel.
Okay. I'll do
Like,
it.
with
I'll edit a
music
reel
and
of my
stuff,
crappiest
and
stuff.
some
I'll
of
put
your
elevator
worst-
music behind it.
The anti-reel, the
anti-reel,
the
you know?
antitha-reel.
I loved
the
Beeple's
nega
reel.
reel,
Did you
if
guys
you
see
will.
Beeple's reel?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
that was great.
Just the
I love
moment,
that he
like,
added his
3
kids in
minutes
there.
in with the kids screaming. So
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I like seeing those anti-reels. There's another one that I
Uh-huh.
can think of, like this guy that works with Ash Thorpe. He
Mm-hmm.
in the middle of his reel has all these renders that are like subliminal, like hire me, and like it just like gets all the screen gets all
funny.
glitched out, and like it's just really funny stuff.
That's
His
really
work
funny.
is still good, but yeah, I really like those off reels. Like
You'll have to
Alright,
see
that-
my
what-
my 45-minute logo reel that I've done with
God.
awful music and
Yeah.
awful
That
Oh,
sounds
logos.
amazing.
45 minutes with each logo being 8 seconds.
wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
I've done a lot of logos.
You could make
Yeah.
like just like some art with that, like put them all, like in a grid or something. I don't know, do something with it.
Yeah, so I want to see your non-reels.
Yeah,
I
Totes.
really do.
I like it.
Like it's like
but here's the thing:
put-
do you like
put-
cut it as if it's like awesome and actiony, and or do you
Yeah,
just like
yeah,
make
yeah,
it lame?
totally.
Do
You
just,
cut it like
keep
you
the
would a
lame
real
vibe
reel,
going?
but
Okay.
it's all terrible work.
Okay.
Oh, so you still use like
I think it would
Justice
be
Medeon
as
or
your
something,
audio
yeah.
I
track.
feel like it would be better
Yeah.
if it were like match the visuals to the audio. So like if it's
Oh,
bad
gosh.
visuals,
See,
like
here's
put
the
some like
yeah,
cheesy music back there. Like don't do like
That's mine.
yeah, but you
EDM,
gotta
like-
like pump people up for it being so bad. If you just put bad, I don't know, maybe.
I don't know. I'll play
I don't know.
with
I'm not an editor.
it. Right.
Yes, I am.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, you kind of are.
Anyway, so
Um,
it was a cool idea, and I thought I'd throw that out there. If anyone
Well-
sends us a non-real, and they're in America, I'll send them a shirt.
See, but that's only like cool if your work is like good. Like if your work is already good and then you put out a crappy reel, like here's my worst work that I don't show, and
That's
that's
true.
kind of fun. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, my stuff's already bad, and so my bad stuff's even worse.
Even worse.
I've got all my bad stuff on my reel already.
Right.
funny.
But speaking of good work, Rich Noseworthy was on the Pro Video Podcast this
Yes.
week.
Yes, I've been
Yes.
listening. Blair Walker, got to give you a big shout out, dude. Love the podcast. You've been doing a great job, and like
Oh yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah,
It's a weird
I
name.
really like.
it's is it mostly about motion graphics, but it's like Pro Video Podcast.
Yeah. Like the ones that I've listened to, I listened to the one we were on, of course. I listened to this
I listened to
last
the one with Joey.
where they talk about Node Fest.
Yep.
And made
started
me
to listen
super
to it.
want to go to Node Fest. So
Oh, is
if
that the one
anyone
in
wants to-
Australia?
that's the one in Australia.
Oh,
that's
that's why
the
you
whole
wanna go.
reason I want to go.
I get it,
Like,
yeah.
so anyway, I would love to go to Node Fest if anyone wants to fly me there.
Also, I've heard it's pronounced Nosworthy, not Noseworthy.
Yeah,
Liam Bisham, 531. I finally got to meet 531 because I went to 2 days of meetups in a row to Richmond on Wednesday.
Yeah, but wasn't that your goodbye
DC.
parties?
Yeah, they were my goodbye parties. It was real sweet.
You had such big smiles on your face.
It was awesome. Yeah, and the Thursday one in DC was hilarious because there was like this ultra nerd fight that broke out between Jake and these other dudes about it was like the real life I wish I'd worn my t-shirt because like they seriously started like getting intense about it. Like these three dudes that were from the Siggraph DC meetup were like talking about Render Man, and Jake was like, "Are you freaking kidding me, Render Man? Like we're talking about Render Man." Yeah, and they were like defending it, and they were like going head to head, and he's like, "I can't do anything with Render Man." It was just funny. It was so funny to see. Like,
or did they use soft homage to animate too?
Right, exactly. Yeah, let's use these
this?
like dead software packages. So
that could be kind of a retro thing to do.
Could be, yeah. It's a
for your non-real.
Yeah, for your
but Rich, I think is maybe we might be able to get him on the show because they talked about it on the Pro Video podcast about possibly, the fact that we really want to have Rich on the show. So
yeah. Good show. Blair's got he's got a great layout and everything, and I feel like he always seems like he does his research more than we do,
right?
Like about his guests that he's interviewing. It's like we're just like, hey, I like this cool thing. Tell me about it. You know,
yeah, totally.
He's like, it's the whole background. Right. You now tell me about this part of the aspect of your work.
All right, so we're at T-30, so let's move to Ravcock. What's your flavor?
What's your flavor?
And you know what we're going to be talking about. Number one is let's talk about Otoy's presence at Siggraph.
Before we do this, can I just make a prediction? Mm-hmm. I'm going to make a year in advance prediction. This is my prediction for the future of render engines. Okay. Because we had a lot of, I think we experienced a lot of good stuff render engine wise at Siggraph. Okay, here's my prediction. Otoy is going to lose a huge amount of its user base to Redshift. Redshift is going to grow like crazy in the next year, and a lot of studios are going to move over to Redshift. Whatchamacallit? What's the new one that just came out with Cinema 4D?
ProRender.
ProRender is going to get a pretty good response. And people are going to start using that, and once they do, they're probably going to switch over to Redshift or Octane, right? And then iRay is going to die.
Yeah,
iRay will be completely gone within a year. Those are my predictions.
Sounds probably accurate, but no, man, I don't want to switch to Redshift. I already know Octane so well, and I'm already doing like all these Octane tutorials. Now I'm going to have to start doing Redshift.
Here's the thing.
This is your conversation with Brandon, though, dude. This is the fact that like once you really get into these, it's not even you don't even have to know.
Jump. I know, but it feels hard, dude. From my
here's what I'll tell you. Like, and I think David, for your situation,
does Redshift have scatter? Does it have a scatter? That's as good.
Yeah, it's a MoGraph cloner, right?
Does it work as well, or does it handle instances as well or as quickly?
I have no idea.
That's a huge feature for me.
Yeah. No, you're totally right.
Yeah,
and sometimes you got to use a little of both, whatever works.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's not like you have to go all the way over.
Hey, how well does Octane?
And I can just do both.
How well does Octane handle volumetrics?
Yes,
and subsurface scattering.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, but Octane can make pretty good like field of clouds, like with just a single noise. Like, how well does Redshift do that?
I don't know
exactly.
But here's what I'm going to say.
Soon,
like, if for your situation, and this is kind of what we were chatting about this at ABC this week. Like, for the single person, one man band thing like you are, I think Octane is an awesome renderer to use, specifically because you're trying to bust out as much stuff as possible. Probably 90% of the time you're working in direct lighting versus path tracing, and you can just bust out as much stuff and good looking stuff, you know? But for studios who are looking to, like, you know, scale up at certain times or scale down, you know, you need that scalability.
Well, yeah, and the VRAM, like taking off the limitations of VRAM,
right?
Shift can cache it to the disk. That is huge. Obviously,
that is huge. Yeah. So I think I have a feeling a lot of studios are going to be moving over to Redshift just because, you know, and I'll tell you, Octane it's so easy to use. So easy, especially in comparison to like Arnold or V-Ray or, you know, Redshift even. Like it's a little bit daunting at first when you get into it, but Redshift, like I feel like, so we went by the Otoy booth and we're like, hey, where's Jules? What's Jules doing? You know?
Jules is on like, a 72-hour sleep schedule where the first 48 hours the first 72 he's awake, and then he sleeps for 48 straight. And he's, you know, this is just super Julesy. So.
Dave, do you have my picture of the Otoy booth that I took? Or did you take a picture of the Otoy booth?
Did you guys get the little takeaways that were like random little figures that had no purpose whatsoever?
Yes, and here's what pissed me off about that. Pins. Like, I was actually very pissed about that stupid little thing because they were 3D printed little logos of theirs, right? With also the Unity logo or something like that.
But they should have been a pin.
They weren't pins. Like, they weren't pins. They had absolutely no use other than to say, hey, look at this thing that we 3D printed. You can't put it anywhere. You can't like put it on anything.
It's like,
you're really going to have to just... Yeah, and you can't put it in your pocket because it was all pointy, so it hurt anyway. Just ended up in the trash.
Dude, I know, it was in my back pocket, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, what is this?" It was stabbing me in the back, and I threw it in my bag, and I don't know where it is.
That's what Octane does to you. You just take it and you love it, and it stabs you in the back.
Stabs you in the back. Okay, but to be fair, like they realized, like the guy that we were talking to said that they realized that their community is not developed yet, and they're working on. I mean, of course, they're always working.
But he's going to tell you that because like that's kind of the empty promises that Otoy's been making for the past like 2 years. It's like, we understand there's an issue, we promise something is coming. How many times can you say, I know there's an issue, we promise something's coming, before like you just say, no.
Yeah.
I mean, almost a year ago, we did an entire episode looking into the future about how their newest version has not come out yet, and it has been almost a year, and that actually has rung true.
Still hasn't come out.
The weird thing about Octane is that like the community. So there's a great community, but it's because of the users, not because of them. It's not like C4D where Paul and Matthias and all of them are working so hard to. They know that they're going to sell their software because when people get educated on the software, they promote that to their users. And Octane's they're not parsing between like the massive studios and the individual artists, and they're not caring enough about individual artists. They're just seeing they're too thinly spread. They're seeing all these different people and things that are using their software. They're like in VR. They're in they've got their hand in so many different pots that they're not.
But jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to say is like they have spread themselves so thin with, you know, the render engine across all the different 3D programs, as well as, you know, trying to get in Unity and trying to run it on a Mac and trying to do this and blah, blah, blah. And it's like,
whatever.
And light fields. And it's like, okay, Brigade, I understand that you want to do something amazing, but we need the support from you guys, and we are not getting any support as it is. Don't get me wrong, Amit is an awesome developer.
And that's the other thing I was going to say. Like that, the reason we love Octane is because of Amit, and he's like the one man dude that's carrying the show with Cinema 4D and making Octane for Cinema 4D better than any other of the plugins. Like it's got scatter because of Amit. You know, it's got
and people hate like the other versions of it, like the 3D Max guys and Maya guys.
They've all moved to whatever that's called. What's the 3D Max?
F-Storm.
F-Storm. Yep.
Oh, right.
And the thing about like the other engine, like what was it, Lightwave or something, just got Octane 3 like recently.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
Yeah, I don't know. So Jules was nowhere to be seen. You know, and like I'm asking like these actual real questions to the Otoy people, and they have no idea.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I don't know. So and so would be better to talk about this
stuff. Like the first two people we talked to clearly didn't know. They were just there to show the stuff at the booth, which were some cute tech demos and stuff. But then we actually did talk to the guy who knew, who was their PR guy, I guess.
Yeah. But I feel like his mostly was just like, oh, well, we understand there's an issue. We're working on that. Actually, and then he said, oh, let me let you talk to so-and-so. And so we went over to the NVIDIA booth where his other representative was there, and we literally talked for like 2 seconds.
Yeah, and the guy was
like his answer was like, I don't know, or something.
Well,
I don't know.
Your question was like, why don't portal lights, and he was like, I don't know.
That is a very good question.
Like, then
that is an excellent question that they have been around since version 2. Like, why haven't you solved that issue? And as a developer, you shouldn't tell me I don't know.
I think guy was like the guy that was responsible for the bridge between Octane and Unity, is what it sounded like to me.
Yeah, but still.
And like he also just approaching him right out of the gate with like this question that's like, why doesn't this work? Might be a little bit hostile. But like, also,
I was pretty
Matt was like
rough.
super jerk mode to all those guys.
Funny.
Well, it honestly, like, I will tell you what, I was super depressed the first day of Siggraph, because when going there, I was like, I think I was expecting more. I was expecting like an NAB like,
it's smaller,
environment, and it's way smaller for one. And I was like, okay, this is all it is. That's cool. I can knock this out pretty easily.
Area.
Yeah, it was like South by's gaming area, exactly like that. So like, and then I wanted to try out the new R19, and I couldn't get it to work. I couldn't get Pro Renderer to work. And I'm like, this is so depressing. Like. And then Otoy's tiny little booth, and it's like,
right?
They figured it out, and eventually I got to play with it. But like,
fault, it was like some video driver or something.
It was.
Gotcha.
So anyway, like, it's like all the things that I was looking for were just totally smashed, and I'm like, I am so depressed about this. And Otoy's tiny little booth with their pointy little stabs in the back, And then I will tell you, by the end of it, the very last thing that we did, we went over and interviewed the Redshift guys, and they were the nicest people in the world. Mm-hmm. Even though I totally mispronounced his name, I was just so excited
and misspelled it.
And
we got
because I said
tweets about that.
I said Robert Slayer, and it's Robert Slater.
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 Well, we spelled it wrong, and it's like it was 3:00 in the morning. I'm like, gotta give me a little bit.
It's okay. Like those. Here's the thing. So I'm over there talking to him, and I'm like, who should we interview? And he said, oh, Kostas Karanikolis. He's the actual C4D developer, and he's here. And it's yes, thank you. Let's talk to you.
You're right. It's really frustrating. I mean, and the one thing I would say is that, like, what more could that one PR guy do other than say, we know about the issue, we're working. But at the same time, you're right, that their effort in putting, into Siggraph or any of these trade shows is 0%, or like just barely, bare minimum, not even. And like the vibe is not good. Like there's this like very corporate vibe with Octane. That lots of people have complained about. Like I was talking to Mauro or certain people that have actually worked with Octane have been totally burned by them, and their super corporate atmosphere, and that's not cool. Like we at this point expect companies like Cinema 4D sets the bar, and we expect other companies to follow suit with their communities, and Octane just they don't give a fuck.
Well, Maxon embraces the community, and what I don't understand is how Jules can be in the Octane render group on Facebook and actively posting in it, and see that there's 10 to 20,000 people in there alone. And so into it. And then you go to their booth. What do you expect to see at that booth? You expect to see a giant screen with beautiful renders that people have been doing, especially all these amazing artists that are on the Facebook group that you see every day. You see something that you just, you do the little wow face on Facebook because it's amazing.
Yeah, totally.
You should have seen those, or stills or something. Here's what you have.
They don't care about the artists.
Samsung Gear freaking VR headset that you can try out, but we've all done that. We know what it's like.
Here's a barely working headset that you can only see a very minimal amount of.
Oh yeah, I hated the field of view on that thing. They were like, but it's 4K, she said, and look at how many pixels it has. I was like, the field of view is terrible.
Well, first of all, I had to take off my glasses, like with VR. And then she's like, "Oh yeah, don't grab them by the side. They're very sensitive."
Oh my
it's like,
God.
oh, you could very easily break them. It's like, whatever.
And it's that the only other thing that they had there was an iMac running Windows, running
Boot camp, yeah.
boot camp running the AMD version of some beta Octane or Alpha,
which felt extremely slow, by the way. It
they
didn't
could just say,
render
"Oh,
quickly
it's
at
running
all.
on a Mac."
Yeah.
I look at Matt. I'm like, dude, I could take any PC I own and just
Boot
cut out a
camp it.
piece, put a piece of cardboard around my PC and put a little Apple logo on it. Say, look, it's Otoy is running Octane on a Mac. It's the same thing. You might as well just put a fake Apple sticker on it because there's no point.
Yep.
What's the point?
Yep.
What's the point in saying, "Oh, we have it on an iMac"?
Right.
Who cares what kind of case it's in?
Yeah.
It's literally Intel architecture running Windows. Like, and so going to the Redshift booth, we're looking at it and we're like, holy crap, like this is a great booth. They have a giant screen. It's showing all these renders. This is how you're supposed to do it. It makes me, like, the way that Maxon embraces the community is what Otoy needs to do. It makes me want to, like, sit down and write an open letter to Otoy and say, look, this is where you're putting artists right now, and we want support, and a lot of people are moving to Redshift. I got permission to say that Barton bought Redshift for his company this week.
Yeah. He's been an Octane studio for a while, and he bought all licenses, like basically, every license for every computer for Redshift now.
Making the switch.
Where we are buying it probably this week.
We're buying 2 copies. We're going to start doing it. And like, that's the thing. Like, I like to say we have a little bit of influence because we do have a lot of Octane people that listen to the show and ask questions and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Otoy doesn't care about that. They don't care that we've been promoting them for years and years.
Otoy doesn't care about artists.
Yeah.
And then you got Mike Myers going, what? Anyway.
Let's move on to our last segment because I got to jump off here in 15 minutes.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, we got to. Real quick, a couple things I'm going to say here. There's a video that we're going to post. It's one of Paul Babb's interviews. Mm-hmm. You got to see that. We talked about the X particle stuff. Here's a tip that we learned this week.
Yes, this is an awesome tip.
And, it's one of those things where it's been there. Probably a lot of people know it, but, we heard it and we're like, oh, if you want to move a parent object of something in Cinema without affecting its children, you hold down the 7 key and move it.
What?
Yeah,
Yes.
I know, right? And you can even like scale or change the anchor point or anything,
Are you
and it will
freaking
not.
kidding me?
No, you hold down the seven key, and it will not affect any of the children.
Mm-hmm.
Crap.
The only thing I don't know is if those things underneath are keyframed, if that will screw it up.
Yeah,
When
that
something's
might screw it up.
keyframed.
Yeah. And in that case,
But-
you want to use the animation mode. You know how there's that toggle to animation mode, which will allow you to offset any kind of keyframe paths and just move things around. You guys know
I
about
didn't
that
know
one?
about that.
Yeah, you got to check that out.
So we thought that was really cool because it's
Cool.
like, whoa, you just hold that down.
I need to remember that. Yeah.
VR Corner. Dan Marino said, I'm requesting a little VR Corner segment on this week's podcast. Unity 3D versus Unreal. Hashtag I can't code. I just thought this was good because there was a lot of Unity Unreal talk.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like at the, just talking to people about what works better for you. And, all these different people use different things. Like you were talking to Brandon. I think he said they used Unreal for something they just did.
And Unity, though. He's also working.
Right. But that's the thing, like it's that flipping back and forth. You kind of need to know them all, or in like render engines too. It's so much better if you know them all. Like, even if you don't know them all well, you want to be able to, like, if you're working for someone else, you're a contractor, and they're like, oh, do you know Redshift? You at least need to know it enough to work with it in some way. You might not be a master of it. You might not be Octane Jesus.
Whatever.
But
you could be Octane Judas.
Isn't that
That's
a
what
bad
they're
thing?
gonna call.
I'm
That's
so,
what they're gonna
not
call us
familiar
when we
with the
move to
Bible.
Redshift.
Oh yeah, Octane Judas. Oh,
Yeah.
you're gonna. Oh, I like that. I like that.
Anyway,
Yeah, my buddy Jay, he was talking about this a lot at the meetup the other night, that he doesn't want to code, and so he gravitates towards Unreal. And he just doesn't ever want to use Unity, and he's pissed about the Octane Unity partnership because he doesn't want to have to learn how to code. He really wants to go from Octane to Unreal kind of thing.
Well, I think they're working on it, aren't they?
Within Unreal. Yeah,
They've said that they're working on it.
They
But
did apparently was like release some version of Octane for Unreal, but I don't know.
yeah, I don't understand that either.
Yeah,
But see, they're talking about Octane being like the playback engine, like Brigade, like
right.
Where the actual gameplay
Real
is, to
time.
where it's not the baking thing that's in Unity.
Right. Gotcha.
So, and then Pro Video Podcast says, if you had to choose between Rift or Vive, which would you choose for production testing, creating content for VR? I think we've all kind of talked about this together from time to time about which one we prefer. Like David, I think you said you kind of like the headset of the Vive better, right?
Well, I never did a back-to-back comparison, and honestly, I think the Unreal is much more comfortable. Or the Oculus is much more uncomfortable.
Much more
the Oculus is much more comfortable, and the hand controllers are better for the Oculus. The only thing that I think the Vive has above the Oculus at this point is the tracking is better, but at the same time, like, it's twice the price right now. So I would totally go for the Oculus. I prefer the
you guys see
the Oculus as well.
Did you guys see that Oculus just I don't know if they just announced it or they added the feature to where basically you can bring in any other game that you buy from anything else into Oculus now?
That's cool.
Into the interface, the store thing?
Cool. Yeah, I believe so.
That's nice.
So like now any Steam game that you have, you can actually add to your Oculus.
Yeah, Sage
That's
actually,
cool.
shout out to Sage. He just gave me Blasters VR for free as a present because he's such a sweet dude.
Yeah, I love that guy.
Yeah.
I'm excited to finally meet him.
I know. Half Res. I can't wait. So many people.
Did we talk about our room at Half Res? It's going to be three of us and EJ and Sage. It's going to be a party.
And Schmoopy.
And Schmoopy.
And Schmoopy. I was telling Barton about it, and he goes, I may come and then just crash on your floor.
That's awesome.
All right, man. The more the merrier.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Totally. But, honestly, especially when it comes to the hand controllers on Oculus have the Vive beat hands
I
down.
totally agree.
No pun intended.
Totally agree. Cool.
All right. So,
all right. I guess are we doing this?
We're doing this. Here we go.
All right, I'm gonna
let's People's people.
You guys ready to sing?
People's people.
People, how'd you make those greebles? People's people. What's up with that guy? Yes.
All right. We need an actual jingle, people, or I'm going to create it. And Matt's going to be like,
are terrible.
I might create it tonight. I don't know. We'll see.
We've got other work to do, bro.
Oh. Well, if not, I'm going to bed.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to go to the old Twitter now. And it's been a couple weeks, so we got some stuff to choose from. We're going to start with the one that people did today. We're actually recording early on a Saturday. This is August 12th, if you're following along at home. And what is it called?
Portal 1.
Portal 1. So here, well, okay. I'm not gonna
So I have a thing to say
yet.
about this. In my egotistical mind, I really like to think that he listened to the podcast that we did, I think 94, how we were talking so much about portals and, I think that there's this other world in there and that square portal. And he actually was like, okay. And then built out this portal and has two different worlds. It's hilarious because it's so similar to that other image in that cave, but then we can actually see into, actually, no, that was our last episode, wasn't it? That was the one with all the dudes in our room where we were talking about
I actually really like this piece. I think it's beautiful. A lot.
So from a technical standpoint, I think it's really cool because he's obviously using like that other environment. I don't know if it was built out, but he may have like built another scene, rendered it as a flat plane, brought it back in emit that light because it's causing all those contact reflections and all that. So I think that's pretty cool.
That is actually a really cool idea. Yeah, I like that.
And I
But
do
the thing
like
is, like, he would have to
spear.
have the camera set up perfectly, wouldn't he?
Not
Like, because
necessarily,
look
no.
at the
I
way
mean,
it's.
It could have been just the same focal length. I mean, yeah, the ground planes are matched
look
up.
at it like it doesn't look skewed at all, but the portal area is like skewed. You know what I'm saying?
Actually, no. You know what? There's something that gives it away. And
There's a little edge issue on.
Yep, on the cloud. No, look at the cloud on the top left.
Yeah, there's a little bit of feathering there actually.
So it's definitely two pieces, or at least the clouds are.
Maybe.
Well, yeah, and I see it too. A little bit of an overhang on the right edge. There's that tree. There's a little bit of a white edge there that kind of gives away a little compositing.
Now, here's what I find interesting about this whole thing is the fact that this is kind of the dystopian kind of crumbled world that was in like the iPad 37s, iPhone 37s, right? So you're going from the Mac world into this other world that looks like the Windows screen.
I was going to say, that looks just like the Windows screen.
This is people trying to communicate switch to PC to everyone.
Right. And that guy in the picture is also wearing skinny jeans.
Did you hear how he...
What does that mean?
I can't wait till he starts integrating himself into the... Because remember how he scanned on it?
Oh, yes.
He did?
He did, yeah.
Oh, that's rad.
Usually it's just so that you can get the little model, but he's getting the actual file so he can put himself in something.
Oh,
Right.
that's awesome. All right, what do we got next?
Here's the thing, though. This portal, by the way, is similar to the ones that were underground. So it's possible that this is related to the dystopian world might be on top, and so people aren't up there as much anymore. Then they go underground, and that's why you see all the guys with the portals underneath.
We will no longer be controlled by the
what is land of the portals. Oh yeah, no, I don't know. You're talking about Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
New episodes are great, by the way. All right, let's go to...
Tell me, have you watched Pickle Rick?
Not yet. I need to.
Oh, watch Pickle Rick.
Pickle Rick. All right, so here's the thing. Is that August 9th, Beeple said, big shout out to Turbo Squid for hooking me up with some badass models. And then he posted this space kind of thing on the moon, and it's probably the same astronaut model that you bought on Turbo.
Yeah, it looks exactly the same. Yeah.
So,
good job, Turbo Squid.
It's weird he did like this whole SpaceX thing. I think probably with the free models that day, right?
I wonder if he's like, if somebody's like also paying him, SpaceX, anybody's paying him to do this or
Because
something.
there's a couple
it's kind of like some
SpaceX things.
product placement almost, or maybe he's just really into Elon. He just loves Elon.
But it's also possible that he got a bunch of these space models that say SpaceX on them, like from Turbo Squid. So,
I see.
Okay, so what's the story behind the spaceman?
Well,
he works for SpaceX and he's going to Mars.
It's supposed to be Mars, right?
Yeah.
So, do you think that this is kind of a precursor to the dystopian world in that, like, this is about the time, that SpaceX finally made it to Mars? Mm-hmm.
Well, they were forced to because of the dystopian landscape. It's Interstellar. This is what it's talking. This is basically his entire thing is Interstellar.
Right.
They're trying to get to a whole nother world. Oh, spoiler alert if you haven't seen Interstellar, because the dystopian landscape and everyone is dying and everything is dying. So now they got to get to outer space and do this to save the world.
Save the world.
Good job, man.
All right.
That's
Third
a good story.
one. If you're following
Cool
along
story,
at
bro.
home, this
Cool
is
story,
called
bro.
Chill. This is on August 3rd.
Yeah.
So keep going down. There are some good ones in here. August 3rd. But I thought this was interesting from August 3rd because we had just been talking about Beeple's People where you get that steeple. And there was the steeple, and it was kind of the bottom
they were
of it
made
was
by
kind of
Steve Teeple.
Steve Teeple, as Steve Teeple's steeples has
How'd you meet
greebles.
Steve Teeple?
Steve Teeple's steeple has a greeble. From Beeple.
From Beeple.
Anyway. It looks like the same type of steeple he used in the other one.
Yeah.
But also, when you look at this, it almost looks miniature. Like the way that the plants and stuff are, like almost like a grave site.
Nah.
Yeah, I think it's.
I think
to be
no,
big,
it's
'cause those are
overgrowth.
trees.
It's after we
trees?
have
They look
left
like bushes.
After like we have left the earth and we just let that whole area, you know,
Right.
like crumble and do their thing. But here's the thing: if you notice it, look how many steeples there are. They're all crosses. It's like, you know, we had to leave because church versus state. Church was taking over. You know,
okay.
and so we had to leave. But you know
what's
what?
with the- do we
Everyone
leave via
left.
what's with the big like Halo-esque, you know, like stuff going up toward, you know, those big
Oh,
lines
that's
there?
the elevator to nowhere.
That's the elevator to space. Cool.
I don't
I
know.
like it.
Maybe
Yeah, I don't
those
know.
are the
I don't-
pow- Well, is it glass or is it cloth?
It's glass.
Looks like glass.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
because there's no
tell.
reflection. Oh, wait.
Oh, the steeple is a reflection.
here's my thing. I think those buildings are weird because there's no texture to them. Like just kind of like straight up
Right.
clay renders. There's no ivy grown. They don't really look destroyed. So maybe they're impenetrable buildings that are not susceptible to the aging of, you know, the weathering of time.
That's
Think
all
about
just
that,
white
bro.
marble.
One of these alternate dimensions is just in clay mode.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all it is. I don't know. All right, so I know you got a heart out.
I do. Thanks for hardening me out here.
Totally. I mean, we got some
gosh.
emails we're gonna do, but
Yeah,
you know,
Schmoopy just messaged me, chicken time, chicken time, chicken time.
they'll get some of
All
that
right.
Thousand Island dressing or whatever it is.
Oh, yeah, dude,
Crack
it's so
Oh,
good.
it's so
So-
good.
So like I asked what was in that sauce because I was afraid that there was Worcester sauce in it because I'm deathly allergic to fish, and we were in the drive-through and the guy was like, "It's a secret. Stay away from
Nope.
it."
Nope. No, I'll actually tell you. Let's see. Kane's recipe leaked. Actually, someone leaked
Oh,
it.
it did.
Half a cup
There's
of
no
mayonnaise, fourth a cup of ketchup, half a teaspoon of garlic salt, fourth a teaspoon of Worcester sauce.
That's what I'm saying. I'm probably
Yeah.
eating like there's minuscule amounts of anchovies and I'm not allergic to it, but it's hilarious. Like the
Half
guy
a
was,
teaspoon
like,
of
all
black
secretive
pepper to
about it.
taste.
He's like, "It's
Have
a
you had it
secret."
before?
Yeah, I've eaten it every single time, so I'm not allergic
Oh.
to it. But don't
Bring
I
the
don't want to
EpiPen
think
just
about
in
it.
case.
Yeah.
I don't think you're actually allergic to
No,
fish.
Oh, I am, I think, but not like minuscule processed amounts, you know, like in that sauce. All right, you guys, I'm going to peace out. You guys should do your social crap without me. But yeah.
All right, yo.
Well, I'm glad you could be a part of Beeple's People.
That's
Me
right.
My
too.
favorite segment.
Me
Yeah.
too. You're so
Oh man.
anti.
No,
Come on, you
it's,
got
it's
into it
all
today. You got
because
into it. You made some stories up.
yeah, I know. But here's the thing. I just think, you know, I don't think it's fair to you know, break down someone's work, especially someone who I look up so much to.
We're
like
not breaking
Beeple,
it down.
you know?
We're talking
I don't
about
know.
how he did
Well, we should
amazing
ask him
things.
what he
I
thinks
just,
about
I
it
just
next
want,
time we talk.
I just want, I want people to like us. You know,
People
I don't know.
think people think it's great.
People, I
That's-
wanna
we
be
got
your
like
friend.
people asking us where the T-shirts were at Siggraph. You know.
Oh
and-
gosh,
yeah. The
I think
I
he's
am
got
hashtag.
some,
I
a
am one
sense
of
humor.
Beeple's people.
I think he's probably chill with it, but we'll ask him if he hates
Well,
it and thinks
we
it's
did.
obnoxious.
I talked to him about it. He said he thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, exactly. So Matt, I think you're just overly
Analyzing.
concerned. Yeah,
Probably. I'm very sensitive about things.
You're such a
Wow, you're
sensitive
so
guy.
sensitive.
Anyway,
All right, you guys.
All right,
All right,
man.
peace out.
Cool.
Enjoy your
Save it
chicken.
out. Send me a little Dropbox link, yo.
I will do. All right, talk to you
Cool.
guys soon. Thanks for having
All
me
right.
on the show.
Take care.
Bye.
Later, bro.
oh, he said the thing.
He said the thing. All right, so let's get onto the email real quick before we get out of here.
Sweet.
Jason Soquette. Is that how you say it?
I'm gonna go with that.
I know, I think he sent in stuff before. Show topic question, thank you, message. So this has been progressively becoming a major issue for me. I'm a father of 2 kids, my daughter who is
Yep.
8 and my highly energetic son who is 6. I work in an advertising agency full time. And I'd love to make the jump to freelance, but I need to work on my reel and build up some money before that.
Yep.
The issue, well, I've been there, like that's exactly where
Yep.
I was,
That's all of us.
except 1 kid instead of 2. The issue
Yep.
is I'm
I
constantly...
got the highly energized kid.
Right. The issue is I'm constantly seeing all this amazing work from you guys, EJ, Dave, Mitch, and all the heavy hitters in our field. I don't know about from us.
Not yet.
Not yet. My question is, when the hell do you guys have time to put in creating passion projects? I'm so burnt out from my 2-hour commute and then the family time to work on my reel and play around. I guess I've been trying to figure out how they split the time with family work without pissing off the wife, girlfriend. How do you guys do it? Has it ever been an issue? Any insight or tips?
It is an issue quite often.
It's always an issue. It's
always an issue. The
wives are always pissed.
No, I wouldn't say they're always pissed. But like it's as much as I don't know, like you really have to do a good juggling act, and you kind of got to stress the importance of like trying to build a reel so that you can get to somewhere bigger, so that you can go to bigger and greater things, And I'll tell you, moving over to freelance or leaving the man behind, gosh, like it's the best. Your whole life changes. Life changes, And I will push this again. If you're thinking of going freelance, buy Joey's book because it's incredible.
And the thing about like doing these things, if you're a fan of Gary Vee, you've probably seen his talk about stop watching Lost and all of that. Of course, you got to have the nighttime family time or whatever. But when they go to bed, then it's time to get back to work. And most of the time, it's like, just like you're tired. That's the main thing. And keep talking. My wife's locked out of the house. Keep going.
You hear that thunder? That thunder's crazy.
Nice. I hear that.
It's crazy. Anyway,
keep going. Keep talking.
That's fine. So really, and here's kind of a common theme that I've found with everyone. When we talk to Barton about this, when we, ourselves as well, we've been, so we will basically do our normal 9 to 5, come home, eat dinner with the kids, spend some time with the wife. And then, as soon as the kids go to bed, you're crushing it until like, midnight to 2 a.m. and just like working on your reel, working on different stuff and just throwing it all together. And the biggest thing is like, whether you're working on your reel or you're working on other freelance stuff, you need to start building up that freelance clientele. If you're thinking about going freelance at all, you've got to have some sort of set of clientele, at least a little bit. And as Joey said in his book, and that we have actually said in the past, odds are your very first client when you go freelance is going to be your previous job.
Yeah, that's true.
So like really, you just, I don't know. Is it cliche to say just crush it, But really, like you have to be willing to put in the time. You have to be willing to kind of put aside the things that you like to do. Like if you like to
games,
just
TV,
video games, TV. If you like to decompress for an hour after work, like I do. Sometimes you just gotta put that aside
till later.
Yeah,
save decompression until when you're lying down in bed. You'll be tired.
You
enough.
really have to, and it sucks. It does suck when you're having to go through you're running through the trenches and stuff like that, but like there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and once you get there, life gets a lot easier. Like your day to day, if you want to go and do something with your kids during the summer, or like you want to go have lunch with your wife, or your significant other or whatever, like you can go do this stuff.
And also like school and stuff for the kids, there's those days that they have like field day and stuff like that, and it's always like, oh, well, I'm gonna miss that because I'm at work and I have a 2-hour commute. I can't even go because of my 2-hour commute. I can't go back to the school and see it and then go back to work because it's like 4 hours. Keep in mind, one of the things about going freelance is if you do have like a 2-hour commute or 1.5-hour commute. I know I had like a 1.5-hour commute at times, depending on how bad traffic was. And it was really rough and I hated it, and I added it up and I'm like, I'm spending 40 hours a month driving. That's an entire work week. So I could take that work week and do something with it on top of the other 4 weeks I'm going to have.
My last job, I was commuting for 3 hours every day.
Yeah.
An hour and a half in the morning and like an hour 15, almost 3 hours.
That's why I don't get to hear all the podcasts that I used to listen to anymore.
Absolutely. I've kind of enjoyed working at ABC because I could listen to the Pro Video podcast. I can listen to MBMBNA,
Bam.
Bam bam.
Bam.
But yeah. You just gotta start buy Joey's book. Joey's book will tell you how to start getting more clients. Start doing all your client work and your extra client work and working on your reel at night after the kids go to bed. You gotta crush it. You gotta have that family time. Family time is super important. Family time is more important than your freelancing work. I'll tell you that right now.
And I really want to be able to do like some cool side projects that are huge passion projects, or not even huge, but just like getting into some really cool stuff that I can have out there. And I'm thinking about it and I'm like, there's no time, and we were just talking about this. Like, we don't feel like we have enough really amazing stuff to put out there. And it's because we've been doing the pay the bills projects, or we have a lot of technical skill and we just haven't been spending that time because we haven't been able to, and it's really hard to make that time. So I get it. I mean, we still don't have the time because when you go out on your own, then you're spending more than 8 hours a day. You're still going to be working those other hours.
You know what? I won't say not necessarily. Here's the thing. We have our slow months,
Yeah.
We've had a couple of slow months this year where we've just been sitting around, either like Dave and I treat this like a real job. I mean, because it is. We're running our own studio, even though we're working remotely.
Right.
So the thing is, like, you'll have your slow months, and like for a freelancer who's just by himself, who's doing his own time, like those could be the times in which you focus on like, building your reel or doing something fun or passion projects. And as a freelancer, you have that opportunity, Yeah. So like, you may treat it, and I would recommend treating it like a normal 9 to 5 when you're at home, freelancing. But if you want to take that time off, that's the great thing about freelancing is, you can take some of that money that you saved and you can go do your own thing. You can go work on a passion project. You can crush it for 6 months so that you can work on a passion project for 6 months, you know?
And the more experience you get with that and the further you get, the more you're able to do that kind of thing. Okay, I spent 6 months on this project. That pays the bills for a year and a half. And now I'm going to spend 6 months doing this and then getting back into it and getting another project. And so like we had kind of some slow points this year where we were able to like not do as much at night. But when we first started, dude, we were working every night.
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. And this month we are like 7 a.m. until
midnight
2 a.m. in the morning.
2 in the morning. And the thing about it too is like that. See, that's why I'm staying at that hotel, because it's like I can't do a 1.5 hour commute each way, and then be able to come home and work on those projects and do a good job and not be completely burnt out or get sick, because that's what happens. I overdo it and I get sick. So you have these almost like stair steps, almost like in the way that your skill level goes. I know a lot of people say their skill level comes in spurts. You know, like they'll really get into a certain thing and all of a sudden they just kind of shoot up a little and they level off on their skill for a little bit, and then they get to another point and so on. And I feel like sometimes that happens when you're trying to run a business is you have those spurts and you have those ebbs and flows, and then all of a sudden I think the last time this really happened to us was last October. You and I were just working ridiculous hours on this big project, like 18-hour days. Yep. And then it went away, and then we were able to enjoy that and kick back for the holidays. Same thing right now, where we haven't really been working, burning the candle at both ends that much. Yeah. We've been busy, but it hasn't been like that. And then we hit that, and that to me is another stepping stone. I feel like we're at another point where it's a really big boost for us and for what we're doing this month. And it sucks because there's a lot going on. There's going to be a lack of sleep. It's going to be tough on the family, but that's our industry. That's just that's just how it goes. I mean, we can do this, or we can work a 9 to 5 for the man. And we have to choose.
Here's the thing, like, if you want the freedom, and if you want the joy of freelancing, and if you want everything that comes with it, you're gonna have to bust your butt for a little bit. but it's so worth it once you do.
Some people say they want the stability, but I don't even know that the stability is any different than than being freelance. Being in a full-time job. Because any of these places could go under at any time. And the thing about it is you're not in control over what they're doing, as opposed to your own company where, like, where the money is. You know what's going on. You know who's responsible for it. It's you.
Did I think I was going to get laid off at the job that you and I started working together?
No.
Absolutely not.
I would have thought you were the last person to go because you were super valuable to the pipeline.
Yeah, but it's like, you know what? I got laid off. It happened. If you think you can't be fired, you absolutely can. So I don't know. I say everyone work freelance.
Or what about those places, an ad agency or something? They might not be selling the right thing. They might not be selling at all. They might not have a sales exec going out there and getting new stuff so that when you're done with the big projects you're working on now, you'll actually have something. You don't know how that's going to go. Maybe a lot of people are suggesting this right now. Especially, I think some people we were talking to at Siggraph. There is no. This was Jeremy we were talking to about this. He was talking about it in his interview. Is you have to have you have to be able to sustain your staff. You don't want the type of graphic staff where you got 40 people on staff and then all of a sudden there's nothing for them to do. And so you have to make payroll for all those people until you can get the next thing. And so a lot of places are just saying, you know what, maybe we'll have one graphics person on staff at all times, but then we're going to contract out 10 people when the big projects come in. And a lot of agencies are going that way. And I don't think that anybody can say they have job security, air quotes, right now, because you just don't know. Even a stable company will look at the numbers and say, you know what, we could just hire these guys contract like 2 or 3 times a year instead of having to pay their health insurance and all this other crap. Workers' comp.
Anyway, do it.
Just do it. All
That's
right.
my David
Brodeur.
What's David Brodeur? One day I'm gonna put that video out there of him at Half Res just going, just do it. You need to take all your dreams, just do it. Anyway,
isn't that where Maddie goes to school? We could just give her the clip.
I gave it
to
her.
Blackmail.
I sent it to her. Yeah,
you better give me an A.
Yeah,
this goes on the interwebs.
It's pretty funny.
Nicholas Nami, I think, who owns the Pixel Dirt Rig, apparently. Beeple's people won't be a thing, but that's the subject line. Yeah, it will. Hey guys, it was great seeing you at Siggraph 2017. I should know how to pronounce your last name, at this point, but that's the theme of the show. Thank you both for the quick tips about getting a MoGraph meetup going. I hope our Orange County people could be able to sponsor you to come out here and present one day. It should be awesome.
We messed this up because
well,
we didn't have a podcast.
Show.
We didn't have a show last week, but still, I could have tweeted it out, and I'm sorry I didn't.
But we're still going to talk about this because there'll be more. Our first small meetup is Thursday, August 10th. In Laguna Hills at
please don't lose power.
Delis Design. We have room for 30 people, but as you said, probably 3 people will show up.
He was asking how to get a meetup group started and stuff like that. So I was kind of giving him some advice there. And I said, listen, your first one, you may only have a couple of people show up. I think Chris Schmidt was telling us at his first Chicago C40 meetup, they had 3 people. And so, the thing is, you start small. We start with, take the podcast, for example. Our first week, we had maybe 20 people listen, which was awesome for us. I mean, we thought it was great, But now we've got in the thousands, which is way awesome, But it's just all about building that base.
We've got the info that we're going to post, though, online, in the show notes, because if you're in that area, there's going to be more of these meetups. So we'll still post this. There's RSVP links. I also think that you should use Eventbrite to get tickets and stuff going, because it's a really cool way to manage it. But just remember, if you post that it's a free event, expect half the people who sign up to actually show, because they're not paying money. They're just signing up, and if they make it, they make it, and they have no real reason to make it. They didn't pay for it. So
right.
Rick Bogus says it's it's on Brograph.
I'm Bogus Rick.
I'm Bogus Rick. There you go. It's like 10 degrees, and he's an avid watcher, I think, as well. He was sending me some memes the other day. It's like 10 degrees cooler and half the humidity here now. Sorry the weather was so craptacular last week. Quick question for you that I should have thought of last week. I started a Pixel Plow account to check it out. When you were talking to Mr. Plow, you guys were...
I love that.
Yeah, I know. He's got to totally do something with that.
Yeah.
You guys were all talking about how Octane isn't licensed and not supported to work with the service, but everyone does it. Can I just prep the files and send it to Pixel Plow, or should it just work? Thanks, guys. I hope you aren't working too hard this week.
Octane will not work with Pixel Plow. Like, Pixel Plow doesn't support Octane, so if you send it, you'll just error out.
Right.
And it won't do anything.
I'm sorry. Let me circle back to Jason real quick, because I forgot the end part. Also, a big thank you for all the interviews at Siggraph and the podcast. You make my commute fun when I'm laughing about people's people and your vacation stories. Keep up the great work. See?
It's good that people like it.
Yeah.
That's good that listeners like it.
And then Rick, did we finish the... Okay, yeah, so...
Yeah, Pixel Plow won't support Octane. It does support Redshift and Cycles, so...
Yeah.
There you go. I don't know what these people are doing. I don't know what Range Computing is doing to break their license agreement or something, and it shouldn't be happening. But ORC is now available as of last week or 2 weeks ago, the Octane Render Cloud. I haven't tested it. I haven't done a test. I would love to see how fast it goes in comparison to how much the price is.
But the VP guy that we were talking to at Otoy, we sort of maybe kind of convinced him to consider thinking about talking to somebody who could possibly
thinking
talk
about
to
maybe
Pixel Plow.
doing something, perhaps.
We told them they needed to talk to Pixel Plow, and they weren't opposed to the idea. But like, is it really because of the ORC thing? Because
I'm sure.
Yeah,
I mean, they're creating their own render cloud.
If you say ORC there, they're like, no, ORC. Okay.
ORC. Sorry, whatever.
But I mean, it stands for Octane Render Cloud, right?
Right. Yes.
ORC.
Whatever.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Tom Heathrow. Did we get everything there with Bogus Rick?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm Bogus Rick.
Tom Heathrow, response to my CAD questions a few weeks ago. Hey guys, thanks heaps for the follow-up email from Matt a few weeks ago. It was awesome walking down the street and suddenly hearing my question being read out on the podcast. Cheers.
Well, here
for the tips.
it can happen now.
Yeah.
Again.
It's Inception. So in follow-up to my CAD to C4D workflow problems, after emailing you guys, we kept searching. By the end, we tried 10 or so different routes, opening up the file in AutoCAD, Maya, 3D Max, Rhino, SketchUp, etc. We tried exporting to 3ds, OBJ, DAE, DFG, FBX, BLA, blah, 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 dot, blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, dot, blah, blah. That was pretty good. I like that.
No DWG. I didn't see DWG in there. I don't know. With varying results, and the main issue being that when we could get them into Cinema 4D, the geometry would come in all screwed up with things out of place, the usual headache. It was actually Sage's previous Reddit posts and replies that led us to try Vectorworks and Bingo. Well, that makes sense. Yeah, that really makes sense because the same parent company owns
C4D.
Maxon. Maxon that owns Vectorworks. So the Cinema 4D stuff is actually built in. So but at the same time, Vectorworks is very CAD-ish type thing. So it makes sense because you're kind of bringing those two different worlds in. Holy crap! Is that thunder?
I know. Yeah, I'm real nervous.
All right.
What?
I can't believe I could hear that through Skype.
Yeah.
So cool trivia I learned today. Once again, I think from Sage's post, the parent. Oh, This is exactly what I said. The parent company owns Vectorworks that owns Maxon. Seems like their synergy efforts are coming into effect. That's really funny because I literally had not read that line. You can export straight to Cinema 4D, and all the instances, etc., come into Cinema 4D correctly. Seems its conversion to the Cinema 4D format is being handled properly. Once we had it in there, we were easily able to reduce it down to the elements we needed and do some other stuff before taking it into D3 for some previs action. So pipeline sorted, that's cool. Good information. I'm still going to check out Okino and Newgraph. Their janky ass circa 2001 website is a little deceiving. Yeah. Well, the software looks like it too. Just a heads up. It looks like Windows 3.1. But seems like one of those little talked about programs that really earns its keep with nothing else delivering. Love the image off their homepage with the bubble people and the old Cinema 4D logo. I also wanted to share my experience with eGPU after listening to EJ's experiences. I run a trash can Mac. I need OS X as there are VJ programs that only use OS X. So as much as I would like to build a PC rig, I do plan to. OS X is a vital part of my VJ workflow. But I want to play with Octane. I bought myself a 1080 and an what is it?
Akitio.
Akitio, is that how you say it?
Akitio, I don't know.
Akitio node. After a bit of fiddling around and following guides online, I have everything running. It wasn't too hard in the end. That's what she said. I would recommend the node for those interested. There is a great community website with all the needed info, plus the script you need to run the terminal, egpu.io. There is also some good articles on 9to5 Mac. We got to tell EJ this. Really not hard. Really not too hard. And no, I'm one GPU closer to a PC build. Plus, given the new lease on life for my 2012 MacBook Pro that I couldn't VJ with anymore due to its aging GeForce 650. P.S. Love the Siggraph podcast from the hotel room. The party cast format was very entertaining. My thought on that, we got to get the microphone and recording situation better on that, because the problem A is the echo, because they're not very directional mics, so we need better mics, and B,
or more of them.
We need to record on one computer.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because that really threw a lot of things off, and
we need to get our Yetis flashed.
Yeah, we need to get them flashed, but we really need something with XLR, not USB. And they just plug into one strip, one interface. That'd be perfect.
They actually make Yetis with XLRs in them. So
we should do that, and then we'll use the one I use here with just like a million XLR inputs on it for one thing. And then we'll use the rule of, is it thirds or what is it with microphone placement?
Oh, I have no idea.
I forget what the distance is that you have to have. Oh, I think it's 3 times the distance from the person to the mic is how far the mic should be from the next mic, or else you get phase cancellation. So we got to do it right next time.
Oh, we should probably end this because weather's getting really bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is the
because I really don't want to lose this recording.
Anyway, thanks again for the insight in the weekly podcast. Keen for more projection mapping talk. We do have that on the list. I just haven't had enough time to really get into that and prep it. But it's on my list. I keep moving it every week because I just haven't had time yet. Liam, who David was talking about earlier, F31, he says, bros, it's been a while. I owe you an email beyond just a tweet here and there. Thanks for everything you do week to week. I'm still religiously listening each week, and because of that, I know you guys are looking at getting your beaks wet in Houdini. I wrote up an extremely short wubba lubba dub dub of an article on Medium listing some resources for Cinema 4D artists looking for quality-made lessons for Houdini. Now you guys can start making some rando-dinis. And he posted the link. I checked it out, and I'm going to get back into Houdini a little bit with this. Houdini and Redshift, dog. That's where we're going. So, yes, that's all true. And then, here's what I wanted to say. If you're somebody who has emailed before or emails on a regular basis or whatever, go ahead and email us. Again, we want to hear from you. Even if you've sent us stuff before. I think some people are like, well, I already sent something, send it out there. We love to hear from everybody, whether it's a question or a comment or a topic idea. Brograph@brograph.com. And we respond on the show. We don't always respond to all of them. If we respond on the show, sometimes that's the way we answer. So if you don't hear back from us over email, we're probably talking about it on the show. So you'll just have to listen. And that brings me to our support response time. I guess there was a firm that was looking at getting some copies of our plugin this week, and they were like, so how are you 24/7? How quickly do you respond? And it's so funny because both of us responded at the same time.
Yeah.
Like right away. And she got 2 emails from both of us. It's like, well, how's that for response time?
Yeah.
And that is that. Don't forget to check out our website. You can check out our plugins like Luminous, the plugin it's the Spotlight plugin for Octane. Luminous Lite, which has gobos and everything that Luminous has.
Standard renderer, physical renderer, hopefully pro renderer.
Yeah, I don't know. We're going to have to test. This is the testing season. We got to make sure none of our stuff is broken here in the next month. Oh, boy. And you can also get MoGraph Lite.
Yes.
Or Cinema 4D Lite, and do all MoGraphy stuff in Cinema 4D Lite, which if you have After Effects, you already own. And don't forget, if you're thinking about getting that Pixel Dirt shader, that we also sell the Pixel Dirt shader right there on our website. So that helps to support us as well if you buy it through us.
Cool.
Any new iTunes reviews?
Nope.
Dang, it was going really well for a while, and then it just kind of...
Gosh. Well, yeah, because we had the shirt contest going on.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm going to say. Like, we don't get a ton of reviews on iTunes, even though we beg for it, but I was just thinking about it. We get so much love on email. So thank you guys so much. Like, honestly, I would much rather receive the emails than I would the iTunes reviews. Right. The iTunes reviews just get us up on the ratings.
Right.
So
you can also subscribe if you haven't done that already, if you're just listening on YouTube or whatever. We also have a newsletter out there you can subscribe to. You can say you've been there, done that, got the t-shirt with the No MoGraph tee, the Gate and D Simone limited edition t-shirt, or the Paul Babb Feel the Babb 2020 t-shirt, where all the proceeds go to Doctors Without Borders. And we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, and Brograph.com if you'd like to take our relationship to the next level.
Take it. Did you see that the McDonald's Szechuan sauce sold on eBay for $15,000?
I'm guessing Joel did not get it.
I don't think so, because it says that it was Aurora, Colorado.
Didn't he say I'm in a bidding war for
Yeah,
Szechuan
I want to say
sauce?
that he was like the second highest bidder or something.
But what's funny is he didn't know Rick and Morty when we were there a few months ago.
I know. I'm telling you, we
got him on it.
Hey, big shout out to Joel Deadmau5. He got married today, so congratulations. Welcome to the world, the married world, the married life. It's awesome.
And he's getting into motion graphics. I think Kelly's going to have to become a teacher.
That's good. I like that. I like that. Yeah. Yeah.
So.
All right. Cool.
Well, we're out of here. We're going to be crazy deep in hopefully some really cool, awesome stuff and learning stuff already been chewed this week, and it's going to be nuts. I know that for sure. We got tons of stuff.
You're
going
working
on,
at already been chewed. I'm working for Samsung.
Oh,
this
that's
week.
right. That's right. I'm by myself.
Lame. What?
Yeah, I'm by myself.
Yep. Sorry.
Yeah.
Trust me, I'd much rather be at already been
I'll
chewed.
be having more fun than you. That's for sure.
Samsung work sucks. It's no 3D. It's all After Effects.
Yeah.
I'm just like, come on.
Yeah. They got to get you to model some of their new top secret material or something.
Nah. They can't even get CAD files for that crap. Like, seriously, it's like the whole time I was working for that original company, it's like I was asking for 3D stuff. I'm like, give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. We can make your stuff look so much cooler than just simple After Effects movements on pictures. And it's like, sorry, that's not what they're looking for.
I don't think we have that. I don't know what that is.
Whatever.
Anyway. All right, we're going to get out of here. Until next week, I'm Dave.
I'm Matt.
Have a good one.
Later, bros.
It's pretty good, I guess. Brograph.com, an online resource for learning critical components of Cinema 4D and After Effects, specifically catered to help you prevail as a motion graphic designer.
What's up, bros? Welcome to another Brograph motion graphics tutorial.
We give you professional time-saving tips, shortcuts, and lessons that help give you an edge over your fellow designers. Not only this, but our new Brograph Talks help you in your file management, hardware configuration, and client relations.
I love projects that scare me. When our art director comes to us and asks for something that I had never done before, man, it gets me pumped.
Join us for live sessions, check out our crazy Cinema 4D experiments, or just watch our Fun with Brograph series, where we show you practical applications for techniques learned in previous tutorials. Do this from the beginning, and your client is going to respect that, and they're going to respect you, and they're going to respect your time. Subscribe today and get automatic updates on the latest tutorials, tricks, tips, and inspiration brought to you by industry professionals Dave Koss and Matt Milstead, all with a slight dash of dry humor peppered in. Real nice banana.
Brograph.com, your source for tutorials that will help you thrive in the motion graphics industry. Don't just play around with Cinema 4D and After Effects, master it, and make money by becoming indispensable at your workplace.
We don't care how you get here, folks. Just get here. Subscribe now to Brograph Tutorials. It's pretty good, I guess.